Still downside so far this morning. We are trying to get back higher currently for the futures to kick things off in a brand new week. A little bit red to start things off, but focus on Bitcoin, focus on crypto markets right across the road or right across the board here as we get going into a brand new week where we saw 120,000 come and go for Bitcoin over the weekend. Touched on that briefly going back to Friday. We'll continue that discussion. Meanwhile, focus shifting once again back to all things tariffs, more letters being sent out to more countries over the weekend from the Trump administration. We'll look for any fallouts, more talk about Fed Chair Powell and his potential future this morning as well with, is he still on? Kevin Hassett was on CNBC. I don't think he's on anymore, but some interesting comments coming across from that seem to lift the market a little bit. In fact, back to the upside here, but that's the Nasdaq right now, 550, 553 still holding as far as support is concerned. IBIT going to be in focus here. A huge monster gap to the upside on this move over the weekend for Bitcoin. I mean, everything crypto related going to be to the upside this morning. Saw a few people talking about MicroStrategy once again, MSTR. Huge gap. This thing's 450. Oh my God, MicroStrategy's 450. Happy Monday.
Came back up there, yeah. Happy Monday, you do as well. There's a whole lot to talk about. I think you just got to the crux of it right there. Bitcoin breaking through. I think on my platform I saw about 123,000 and change. We'll get to that. NVIDIA also in focus as Jensen heads back to China. He'll be looking at striking some more China-specific deals, but he's being warned by American lawmakers not to cozy up too much there, Brendo. Also, Zuckerberg likely to take the stand later this week in an $8 billion lawsuit. Some information could come out about how Meta operates there, Brendo, and Google making a big acquisition as well. So it's not just Meta throwing around that AI acquisition money.
I was going to say, I saw an interesting story this morning. I'll grab it here real quick, just because this blew my mind. That going back to when Ronaldo signed with Real Madrid.
Okay.
It was, I don't know who this was that posted this on LinkedIn, but it caught my eye this morning. So it was 80 million, or the equivalent of,
Andre?
There it is. 80 million, the equivalent of, so Meta just signed this guy, whoever he is, to a $100 million contract to code for Meta. So yeah, it's not just athletes anymore that are getting just ridiculous amounts of money. Like that's just
crazy.
bonkers.
That's crazy money. But here's the deal. They're acquiring, they acquired Scale and Alexander Wang and his whole crew there because of the labeling, human labeling. But over the weekend, Brendo, Grok 4, this new version of Grok, especially the heavy version, being said to possibly be, to put labeling aside entirely, human labeling. It's going to be more artificial intelligence labeling, a lot being made about how the advances there could be kind of shapeshifting.
It's still only the beginning across the board here for AI. But yeah, that was the first. I mean, we talked about that a couple of weeks ago, that they were threatening with $100 million signing bonuses to gather some of this talent. Looks like they've been able to come through on a couple. NIO, speaking of China, NIO up big time here on pre-sale numbers coming out for their latest release of a vehicle. So we'll talk a little NIO, maybe some XPeng as well. XPeng also up here in the pre-market, nowhere near as much as NIO, but don't call it a comeback here. Maybe for NIO back to $4.10. Sean's off this week for much needed vacation. OBN today, guys. Good morning.
Good morning and welcome, Obi. I like that. Don't call it a comeback. Brendan getting it in already early this morning. Also with China, you've got Alibaba's AI Kimi making some waves. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
apparently
in terms of coding, beating out ChatGPT in certain aspects. So like it's always worth watching. We'll have Baba on watch a little bit, but come on. Everyone's looking at, what are we talking about? It's Bitcoin, baby. Like, we got to 123, we broke 123. If you're crypto related and you're not up today, like, that's where it's at. I know Sharif's excited, Joe's excited, everyone around here is going to be happy. Of course, it didn't happen fast enough for
I just heard him say,
Sharif to win the bet.
money back.
Yeah, he wants his money back because it didn't. Look, when you make a bet, it's not that it hits 125, it's got to hit 125 within the timeline, and it didn't do so. Yep. So unfortunately, that's just how it is. MSTR in play. And of course, in the most logical thing ever, you're going to have things like Sonnet Therapeutics, which, Hype coin treasury, token treasury, whatever it is, This one in play, done like 10 million shares in volume. So a lot of things crypto related are going to be moving around. Don't forget though, we did have that headline on Friday regarding the payment names having to pay up for client data. That's from JPM. So like when PayPal, Square, Block, I guess I should say, Affirm, all down on that news. What I find interesting is you can see the relative difference between the names that got smoked on that and holding the bottoms, and the names which kind of caught some strays and are right back to where they were before, like something like a Robinhood, right back to where it was before. But yeah, on my brain is probably going to be Affirm is the weak one. But yeah, the payment processors on Fridays took it on the chin. It's a relatively flat, slightly down market because of the tariff headlines overnight, but and it's all about Bitcoin, Obi. All
Yeah,
about
for
Bitcoin.
sure, man. Again, shout out to Sharif for kind of calling that out. 125, we knew it was coming, and just like any other trade, timing is obviously almost everything there. 125, we were like, yeah, almost inevitable with the way that it was building up. Sure, we could have gone both ways, but yeah, it's great to see some fresh highs here, and it feels just like yesterday when we first broke $100. I'm joking, but no, 100,000 and then 125. Where's the next stop? I'm gonna say 150. Obviously, I like to work in quarters, so if we can break and hold 125s, 150 is definitely well within range. And I think that, interestingly enough, I was reading just I guess a few minutes ago, MSTR buying some more Bitcoin as well near some of these highs, so it should be interesting. I think it's created a pretty decent base. But in terms of what are some of the stocks that we could potentially be looking at with Bitcoin pushing some fresh highs, I definitely have Coinbase on watch. We know that that's been doing some a little bit of relative volume going into last week here, coming into this week. Still haven't really broken through that 400 just yet. But with Bitcoin pushing these highs into 120s, I'm looking for a potential push through 400. Let's see if we can catch any, or if we can accumulate any inventory in any effective ways to take through that 400 Coinbase. And of course, MSTR, again, also doing a little bit of a gap up. I'm going to take this VWAP out of the way and maybe look at higher time frame. But interestingly enough, the business model that these guys have created is starting to be mimicked by other companies, even like No Name. We were looking at a therapeutics company this morning, which apparently wants to try to do something like this. It's interesting. Kind of reminds you of the .com level of Fugazi, where like, just a random stock will put .com behind its name, put AI or crypto involvement in its PRs, and then suddenly catch a little bit of a push. But MSTR, again, looking very, very good. I think last week, Friday, look at this intense relative volume that you can see at the bottom of the chart here, over 2.5 times, and we just traded in a range. Leg consolidation. I'm looking for that push through those pre-market highs today, 450 halves. I don't know if we're going to get it. Higher time frame, man. These stocks, some of these stocks look absolutely strong, coming in off of those April lows as well. And a nice stair step here. You can see that 360 holding on the bid pretty well for multiple months here on MSTR as they, again, buy more Bitcoin and continue to push even higher now with Bitcoin pushing some fresh highs. So I think we're excited for some of the names and the volatility and the opportunity that can potentially come out of this. I am also noticing now, look at this, expanding volume and expanding relative volume here on a 3-hour as we push higher. So again, more confluence for if we're looking to break out, that we can potentially sustain higher prices. So I like that.
Yeah, and don't forget ETH broke 3K as well. So like it's not as if it's not just Bitcoin, right? You can look at other tokens, ETH breaking. I guess we didn't really get to 31, but breaking out itself. We could have talked about the possibility of actually getting that as an intraday break, because we can always just trade ETHA around here, but that's all right. Maybe there'll be a dip buy that bounces off that 3,000 level, and we always, whoops, I wanted to go to a daily, not an hourly chart there. And we always sort of talk about, the leader of the pack, but there's a ways to go here for ETH. Obviously, you've got the stable coins built the platform, and just from a statistical point, like I like this 20, like where we broke out from at 2,800, just feels to me like we should be getting to 32 very quickly or relatively quickly. I can see that in the next couple of days there. How far it's able to go, I mean, who was it? Who here was saying somebody here was saying 7K on ETH, which I don't know if I believed in that one. too much. I think.
No. Yeah.
Oh, Sharif was. We'll go to Sharif
yeah.
and Sharif because I don't know where the 7K. I hadn't heard 7K from them before, but there's a ways to go here.
Within range.
But there's a ways to go. That's
Yeah,
a
of
hefty
course.
triple
Yeah.
top up there in East. Just realized I wasn't really zoomed out far enough for you guys to see it. I think we get to the 32 to be able to test that at some point in the next couple of days. And then if we get a consolidation, we'll see how far we can go. I'd be surprised if we got to, 7,000 seems like a little bit lofty to me. But at the end of the day, the crypto party is definitely alive and cooking. And there's a lot to look at. Prime, we can talk about that, and we'll certainly talk about the Mag 7 as well, because Amazon's going to be in play after what ended up not being a disaster for Prime Week, like everyone was saying.
They've been doing better and better. You know what I'm saying? Every year it's.
But what
it's
did you buy? Did you buy anything?
I mean, this time around, I was looking for, I guess, a couple of headsets, but I didn't really see anything that significant, to be honest, nor that I need anything.
Randy, Apple a day.
Very much.
Keeps the shorts away.
Keeps the market makers away.
Well, we'll try. So we don't have any crazy noise this morning.
Quiet.
It's perfect.
Enjoy the peace and quiet.
While it lasts.
Well, alas, there's more coming, but
Yeah, of course.
hopefully it's not as raucous as it was last week. But we're trying.
Yeah, fair enough.
It is what it is.
We'll get the floor done at some point.
I mean, the floor out back is pretty much done, right?
It's very bright.
It's
bright.
the yellow brick road, everybody.
Shiny.
I literally, I came in through the back today, and I thought, it was still wet. That's how shiny it is. I was like, I had to, do a quick step. I got to make sure there's no signs on the other side as well. It was super
We'll
shiny.
be
I was
stuck
just
to
like,
the
oh my
floor in
God.
the hallway.
Yeah,
You can't
exactly.
move. We'll have to hold the show out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit intense.
Yeah. Anyway, is what it is. Coffee?
Yeah, for sure.
I
I'll
think
take
I'm okay.
one. Thank you, sir.
Still hot.
Appreciate
you
it,
very
Randy.
much.
Yeah, Studio A never
Yes.
sleeps, man. The work always has to get done.
Coming in
Hopefully-
hot.
It's coming in hot. It's coming in loud is what's actually happening. Let's get back to the desk. And I know we're going to have Michael coming on in a little bit here, but let's move it on.
Yeah, thankfully, there shouldn't be too much in the way of noise today coming from behind the curtain out there, but we'll keep that capped going forward, hopefully. Little one here, MGRM flying around. A couple people talking about this one. It's a buyout. I think it was $4.04 I saw there for MGRM cash deal. So a heads up on that. That's probably going to calm down at some point, not necessarily trade like typical high flyers as far as small caps go. Here's Tesla this morning looking better than most, really. Up significantly, a couple of dollars worth of a gain here coming off. Nice day on Friday, rallied throughout. I mean, mid-morning on, we'll call it, right through to the close. Elon coming out, though, saying that I mean, a lot of people were speculating that maybe the XAI Tesla merger happens sooner than later. He's come out now and saying has no interest yet in doing so.
Well, after he included in the cars, or the software update that's upcoming, Brent knows going to include in the cars, speculation swirling again. He publicly stated that he does not, as you said, for the moment, support a merger between Tesla and his startup XAI in response to a poll on X. The statement comes amid speculation rising, obviously, around the potential integration into the overall ecosystem. But we know other companies that he runs, Brendo, have invested. For example, SpaceX to the tune of $2 billion. They've already invested in XAI. So it's not something that he hasn't done before. Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure it'll happen. It's just a matter of when. Also in EV land, Rivian downside here this morning, heading the other direction in a hurry. We're not at lows, but just bounced off 1275, 1280. Cautious note out this morning from a couple of different analysts. There's these new second gen or Gen 2 R1S models and R1T models. I saw a couple of reviews. Marcus Brownlee had a review of the 1,000 horsepower R1T I saw he posted the other day. That's just absolutely destroys Lamborghinis, apparently, in a pickup truck.
The difference between the price on the used market, Brando, between the R1T and the R1S, it's kind of maybe almost 20 grand now between similar comparable years and kilometers. The demand for the R1S, at least in north of the border anyway, so much more for the SUV than it is for the truck.
Yeah, I mean, his I guess the takeaway from his review of that thing was, it's fine, but I mean, there wasn't a lot different.
Looks the same.
Yeah, the Gen 2, just minor refreshes, a little bit of a software update. There was some transmission, I think, differences, and the ride quality was a little bit better as well. But Rivian looking weak here, guys, to start things off.
Just one note on that MGRM, because I think if anyone happens to be trading that MGRM, it's $4.04 in cash plus a $12.37, well, potentially 12.37 contingent value rate. So essentially, like what that just means is if a certain product, which they don't say which one, or development reaches certain milestones through 2030, then you could have a CVR worth up to like 12 something, which obviously that's really large, but given like the time frame on that, that'd be difficult to price. So you're gonna see that's not gonna trade at $4, or probably not gonna trade anywhere close to $4 with that big of a CVR. All of that said, I want to make sure we got that out, because I didn't want anyone to think, oh well, it's a 404 cash deal, you could just short that, it's gonna go to 4. That's probably not gonna be the case with MGRM. So just be very careful. With Rivian, it kind of stinks. We had Rivian Randy here just a quick second ago. This one was it was looking really, really good a few weeks ago. And all of a sudden, all you got left between it and that $10 Randy bottom, because I think that's where he's been buying it, is this $12.50. And it does feel like we're going to test this here today. I mean, we're not moving around in terms of a lot of volume, but there's here, and then there's underneath $11. And Rivian has been fantastic for bounces off these levels. So I think you're looking square at this $12.50 today if you're trying to catch any kind of a bid. Like there's nowhere else I'd look. I'll be looking at Tesla for a long today in the EV space. There's no question about it. And I think in secondary play would be to look over at something like a NIO. But yeah, Rivian 12.50 is the one to go. I do believe we have Michael Noss locked and loaded and ready to go. I know he's happy about the crypto move. Yeah, that's true. Oh no. That BMNR is halted. Brendan's mic, they can't hear. So we're having some issues with some mic issues. Brendan's mic, turns out, was an issue. And also, apparently, we're going to probably have Michael coming on in just a little bit here, but we're just working through some audio issues. Look, just for a couple of people in the chat, I saw that are mentioning this BMNR. If you remember this one.
Oh, trust me, I remember that one.
I'm talking about Obi. Certainly was a heavy short on Wednesday. Yeah. It is halted. Let me just double check.
One of the traders that I follow, and I've been following him for many years now. I look up to this trader, and learned a lot from him as well. But he had probably one of his best trades on that BMNR on when was it?
It would be Wednesday.
BMNR Wednesday. Yeah. So was it 7-figure trade intraday? This trader had getting involved in the pre-market and off of the open on this beautiful short here. Again, we saw BMNR, what it was doing, front side of the move, nice little push, consolidation, can't really hold that, and then coming into some of those prior levels, you can see just disaster for the longs right there as they hit the exit and hit the bids as well. 120s all the way down to 58s. By I guess what is this? We can see exact roughly the exact time. In about an hour and 30 minutes off of open on Wednesday. I was just saying, one of the traders, Randy, that I follow, but he got in short going into the pre-market, few 100,000 shares, easy 10 mil. Intraday trade. Lots to learn from. I definitely playbooked this, and I was like, yeah, if I want to be involved when setups like this happen, and of course, a beautiful display of trader prowess in the trading, environment, I would say. Last week, yeah.
And just a heads up, it is halted. That's the BMNR is halted. News pending today. And I've seen nothing that really indicates what that story might be, but we'll find out. Like it could be. You never want to speculate too much there, but halted news pending BMNR. That is certainly going to be a mover. It was already gapped up a little bit. I think we're going to give it another shot. We should be locked and loaded, ready to go with Michael.
Able to hear me at this point, so Michael Noss is shaking. Can you? You can hear me.
I can hear you now.
Hey, I can hear you too. Fantastic.
Can you hear me now?
Let's
Perfect.
go. We're live.
Live TV. Happy Monday, first of all. It was a eventful weekend, to say the least, for crypto markets. But I mean, you want to talk about banks. So, I mean, thoughts on Bitcoin here, just to start things off?
Yeah, I know. It's sometimes I'm coming in talking about dog with hat, and then the next time it's regional banks. But we got to do what the market gives us. But yeah, we talked about the breakout. We talked about some potential ways that technicians would do targets on that breakout. Again, looking around 150 or so a coin. So I'm very happy there. What is not so surprising, but I'd like to see more of, is Solana and Ethereum kind of keeping up here, right? I'm just looking at them now, and yeah, they still haven't moved. Ethereum looks okay. It's one of those. Bitcoin could be looked at by a lot of people as like digital gold, and that might not be a super risk-on indicator that we're rallying here. So I want to see Solana and Ethereum and some of these meme coins really start going as well, because that will make me feel better that, okay, it's time to do crypto as opposed to it's time to just do Bitcoin.
Yeah, from a general standpoint, though, I think more so than ever before, we've seen that separation grow. And the focus on that separation continue to grow. Like the smaller ones are there, tend to pop up a day or two after the fact, but definitely Bitcoin leading the way here.
Well, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that investment advisors, large institutions, right, the TradFi, I guess we're called now by the kids, they're starting to get noticed, but it's a lot easier. So say I'm a financial advisor and I'm finally comfortable to telling my clients that, hey, they should add some crypto to their portfolio. I'm probably not going to be able to talk to that 70-year-old retiree and say, hey, it should be dog with hat. It's probably just easier to go, okay, here's Bitcoin. We know the whole story behind it of can't be manipulated, can't be controlled, digital gold, that kind of thing. So it's going to obviously be bullish for the whole crypto space, the fact that we're breaking out and making new highs like this. I just think that, like you mentioned, that separation is going to start to grow between Bitcoin and kind of the rest of the crypto universe. Doesn't mean that they all can't participate, but I think we should just start to look at them a little bit separately.
All right, let's get back to equity land here this morning. The market's still kind of chopping around at or near the highs. Regional banks as a group have been pretty quiet so far, but the financial, if you zoom out a little bit, the financial sector continues to show, pretty impressive strength. We went over some of the big banks going back to the middle of last week that continue to rally here. Is it time for a bit of a catch up with the smaller ones?
Yeah, and I think so, right? So I'm going to give my pitch on that there. But first of all, just a chart of the SPY, right? And just showing that the S&P 500, like Brendan was talking about here, is very range bound. This doesn't include today's candle where we're gapping down just ever so slightly here. So still within inside this range, inside this box. I've just kind of drew this box from when we hit and close above those all-time highs, and then we've just been kind of consolidating ever since. However, sometimes we like to do top-down analysis where we like to look at the sector, and then we look at the indexes inside the sector, and then the names inside those indexes. However, sometimes we kind of just get hit over the head with some bottoms-up analysis. So over the weekend when I was running my systems, and this is the system that we're going to talk about today that we do at Stats Edge. Again, we are quants, we are systematic traders, which means, I run and I backtest certain ideas and certain theories, and when I have one that looks good, that gets kind of presented to users. And this is the area that we're looking at. So I wanted to highlight the 45% win rate just to show, not very accurate on this one, but we're keeping our risk very, very small, and we're trying to target 2 to 1 times our risk on plays like this that we'll talk about. But when I went through them, I'll show you guys, most of them were in this kind of regional banking category. So I'll just go through some of these names, and you can see how they're kind of very similar here, right? So the purple line above is always going to represent our entry point. In this particular area, we're looking for breakouts or break to prior highs here. And then, we use the low end of the base or halfway through the base. Really, if we don't get that breakout and that quick momentum continuation, we want to be out. So yeah, this is PC, I haven't heard of any of these, but it says bank shares. Anytime you see bank shares with a K or a C for some reason, yeah, that's going to be a regional bank. So it's like 1620 on this one. Again, you can see the nice, 5-6 days of consolidation that we've had here. Next one here is FMBH. Again, you will be shocked if you just want to go through the list of all the regional banks out there. It's crazy coming from Canada, in which we don't have a lot of these, to the States where in Canada we have 6 banks for you guys in America who don't know. In America you have tons. So this is FMBH, shopping around $40 a share. The thing I like about this is like $39 as you're out, so you're risking $1 a share, hopefully looking to make 2 or more. Next one is PRK, which is Park National Company. I think this is a regional bank. But the long story short is there was about 70 available symbols that came out of all of the strategies, and almost half of them were regional banks. So you can look at under the hood to play these things. However, we live in a beautiful world with a lot of these really cool ETFs. So I did a lot of my analysis on the KRE, which is just next chart there is KRE. And KRE is just an ETF that controls all of the regional banks out there. And it's doing the same pattern, this nice kind of sideways consolidation. So if we start to break out here in regional banks, and I start to get a flurry of all of these notifications to enter all of these regional bank plays, what I might just do, and a lot of people don't know about this one, I don't think, is DPST, which is Dextron's 3x regional banks. And this just shows that in this world, and you can call it the degenerate economy, you can always find leverage on your bets wherever you go. So if we're going to get a nice push up on regional banks here, this was kind of like a 105 area that we could look to enter this. I just like to give all the caveats on these triple leveraged ETFs. They are good for day trades. They are good for short-term swing trades. Anything over a couple weeks to a month, I really start to worry about, because they degrade over time. And it's just because the way they're getting this leverage is they're using derivatives. Those derivatives degrade over time. So this will at some point go to zero and reverse split and so on and so forth. It's not a bug, it's a feature. It's just kind of how they do it. So DPST would be an interesting way to play this. And overall, if we're going to get a move in regional banks, it means that at least the market is betting on lower interest rates. So that could affect a lot of these small cap sectors, not just regional banks.
Whether or not that actually plays out is the key question here. The odds still pointing at 2 moves by the Fed before the end of the year, but we shall see. With all this talk about who is going to be leading the central bank, the Fed chair position is still kind of up in the air as well. So a lot to discuss as far as where to deploy money in that sense. Michael Noss back with us after the close tonight. We'll see you then.
I'll talk to you then.
Thank you very much, Mike. And you saved us from making the usual statement regarding those leveraged ETFs, which we try to warn people about, because, like we say, excellent trading vehicles, certainly, because they give you that extra oomph. You're going to get a bigger percentage move or gain on the underlyings move, but at the same time, you just don't want to get caught turning that into some kind of a longer hold, which is a bit of a problem. But I do like that look on KRE.
Yeah, no,
there's no question about that. Like, look, in a bull market, you like bull flags and you like those types of consolidation breakouts, no questions asked. And I will, before I'll give you a second. There. I will thank you, Rustam, for the super chat. I know, look, we know this symbol. It doesn't do any volume, and there's no catalyst to it right now. But we appreciate the super chat for sure, and I hope it works out for you. That's all I'll say.
Thank you again, Michael, for that. I pulled up. It was funny. He was going through all the regional banks. I'm like, he's got to look at KRE. Look at KRE, and finally we got the KRE, and I was like, yes, let's go. That's what I like to look at, because I was going through the banks as he was going through them. Some of them not as liquid as I'd like them to be. Even the triple levers, the DPST, you can see average volume of 873K by the end of the day. That's a 30-day average volume. I like that, but the KRE definitely a little bit better here. And again, he pointed us to that bit of a consolidation that we've been having. Yeah, very, very interesting consolidation. We see that whenever it does have consolidations near highs before, sometimes you can get pretty directional when that consolidation breaks. And I think we're all kind of looking for similar kind of things here, consolidating between, 64 highs and then some lows just above 62. there. But yeah, again, lots of space to get to or get through if we are going to get through the 65 or even this prior high at 68.80s as well. But yeah, interesting look there. Definitely one that I wasn't watching. Didn't really have regional banks on my watch list for the day today. But again, I don't know about the intraday, but definitely going to keep an eye out on some of these regional banks because that consolidation is definitely a little interesting, Neil.
No questions asked. And what's also always interesting is getting an idea of what might be moving based on some analyst upgrades and downgrades.
Yeah, there's some pretty interesting ones to be sure on the list today. I would say across the board, starting with Solar Edge. We know that, especially around the big, beautiful bill, these solar stocks were definitely on watch today. Barclays actually upgrading SEDG with the $29 price target. Then we have Stitch Fix up 7% with a William Blair upgrade. Then we've got WK Kellogg. This one, of course, on watch recently as Ferrero announces plans to acquire the company. They're getting upgraded today by TD Cowen. Then we have Uber getting upgraded by Needham. On the downgrade side of things, Core Scientific said to be acquired here by CoreWeave, getting downgraded by Citigroup, though they're up on the morning so far. SoFi, another stock that's been definitely on the move as of late with a Goldman Sachs downgrade. Then Albemarle up on the day, but getting downgraded by KeyCorp. Last but not least, JD.com here with the Bank of America downgrade. Lots to look at today.
Well, I'm sure of that. So just that WK Kellogg, of course, being
it's a buyout, not a sellout.
Buyout. It's being like they're being bought for cash. And we did get a super chat about Palantir, so I promise we will talk about Palantir. I don't love a downgrade in SoFi. Come on now, SoFi's been doing so well. All right, so yeah, there was that trend break on Friday, which oddly enough, this broke trend pretty much exactly when that fintech headline came out on paying for data. And it just trended down after that. But SoFi, they report on the 29th, so we got about 2 weeks until their report. Still in a very good upward trend. The only reason why I don't have this one on the radar today is nothing to do with that downgrade. It's come so far so fast. I just like Hood a little better today. I think, Hood maybe moves a little bit more with regard to crypto, just a little bit stronger relative to where it was on Friday. It's up 3% to like SoFi's 1%. So that's why I'm looking at Hood for longs today instead of SoFi. But I think this continues to work. I do love them in the long term. I'm not saying that you should be concerned too much with that downgrade. But one thing that would give me a little bit of pause here is like when I see, here's Robinhood trying to break out the highs. And of course, we had that slight move in the group to the downside, affecting maybe Block and PayPal and Affirm a little bit more. What would give me a cause for concern is if we were to fail the lower high on a continuation play. There's just a lot of room for profit taking on SoFi right now. I'm not saying I'm going short, but I'm most certainly not trying to be aggressively long on SoFi. I'm going to take my shots in a Robinhood today. And just quickly, for the super chat, because we want to make sure we get to it here. It was Toxic Zombie. I like that one. It's a good one. Palantir broke 1 hour trend line. What do you think? I know I wrote down on my iPad that we still like the 145 break this week. So I'm still kind of lining up for the 145 break as a trade that I would look to have. I'm not entirely sure which, whoops.
Yeah, what do you?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Whoops, what happened there? What trend line is broken on an hourly? It'd be tough to say. Did it break it down? I don't think so. I don't know. To me, it's holding trend on that time frame. So my thing is, it looks like it's a holding an uptrend, and I think it can break 145 this week. That's what I'm looking for. It's not on the note today because I just a little bit further away, and I think other things are a little bit stronger. But yeah, I'm not really seeing the exact same thing. I do like it for a breakout maybe later this week.
Yeah, no. Okay, so Toxic Zombie, that broke 1 hour trend line. So I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that you may mean this hourly trend line here from these lows? Maybe, yes, technically this has been broken, but that was broken a little bit last week, and you can see that bit of a reclaim as well. But I think Neil's definitely right. Again, shorter frame, yeah, maybe we are testing the break of that. Maybe we do potentially come in to a shorter time frame. This is an hourly. Now, I also kind of like to look at multiple time frames. So going up just a little bit more to the 3-hour chart, you can see, yes, sure, we've broken a shorter term frame trend, but bigger term, you can see since, again, I'm going to point out these April lows because seemingly a lot of stocks just trending and making higher highs and higher lows off of this point here, and a bit of a shift there as well. But yeah, higher highs and higher lows. So technically still in an uptrend. Shorter time frame, yeah, maybe. But the thing is, like, I also like to give a lot more weighting to higher time frame trends because everything else in the middle could just be a little bit of noise there. As again, higher time frames doing more volume cumulatively and holding larger participants as well. But yeah, out of those upgrades and downgrades, maybe, I don't know, I was looking at, I went through a few of them, and interestingly enough, Stitch Fix already in the pre-market got a pretty aggressive bid here and doing relative volume as well. So I'm like, all right, didn't really have this one, probably not really on a lot of people's radar either, but take a look at this relative volume that's increasing in the pre-market, Neil. We're doing over 60 times. Sure, it's a little bit of a crumble. We haven't done a lot of volume, but relative volume is 60 times more than normal in the pre-market session on Stitch Fix. And you can see with this bit of a push-up, we're pushing into prior week's highs, as well as some interesting levels from earnings, that earnings day one reaction low, sitting right at that $4.30 area. So pushing up back into some significant areas, pretty much a slow bleed off since earnings on Stitch Fix, which was on June 11th, pulling back into some of those levels. Interesting stuff. Maybe not the top idea, but now I'll definitely have this one on a little bit of a watch because of this, the signs that it's giving us in the.
I like that. Let's get up back to the desk so we can get into the watch list, everybody.
6301, guys, just above that 6,300 point area is where we closed out Friday on the ES September contract. We're already below it, though, having lost that 6,300 point area as a result of the new 30% tariffs on EU and Mexico announced over the weekend. So the overnight low, 62.59. So we'll use that 62.50 area as our support area. As resistance, we'll use 6,300. Now, if we clear 6,300, we're looking at that 6,350 area that we couldn't really breach last week, Brendo, as resistance.
As always, if you haven't done so yet, make sure you take a second, jump down to the description of this video. Top link in the description will get you to that link, which will be the sign-up page for the watch list. Has everything you need to know on it in the pre-market. Every single day comes right to your inbox for free. Again, just an email address required. IBIT, I mean, we can look at a whole bunch of different angles here for crypto, but the bottom line, yeah, if you missed it, Bitcoin topping 120 has all of these gapping huge to the upside.
We know that every exchange has their own price, Brendo. I saw 123.5. I'm going to go with the higher number here, okay? So 123.5 is what I saw. That's an all-time high, guys, hitting that very briefly. The gains follow a 1.18 billion, Brendo, inflow into BTF, spot BTFs. That was last Thursday. That was the strongest day of 2025. Institutional buyers are continuing to accumulate here, picking up about $15 billion over the last 6 to 8 weeks. Long-term holders are locking in supply, while retail investors remain, I don't want to say sidelined, but not adding certainly as much as institutional. The risk from Trump's new trade disputes may cause volatility, but institutions appear kind of unfazed and continue to accumulate anyway. And we're going into a big week here, Brendo. It's called Crypto Week in the U.S. House. They begin debating major crypto bills in what's being dubbed, as I said, Crypto Week. Key legislations include the Genius Act, amongst others, which would regulate stablecoins and digital dollar issuance. New rules could provide clear federal guardrails, long demanded by the crypto industry. And just to give you an idea here of what we're expecting, 10x research sees the year-end BTC levels between 140 to 160,000, supported by the macro policy trends. But there is an overhand here. We were talking about this Fed hawkishness and interest rate, I don't want to say hikes, but leaving interest rates as they are could kind of be a bit of a damper on some upside price movements.
Yeah, speaking of MSTR, Obi was alluding to that early on this morning, picking up more Bitcoin as they typically do. So prepare for the offering, because that's the next step that usually comes as far as MicroStrategy goes. Robinhood, I saw also looking pretty good here, just took out that high from Friday, guys.
BMNR also opened back up and traded as high as $50, and they doubled their ETH holdings to 163,142 tokens to 500 million in just 5 trading days. So that would be why this is going to the upside. So everyone's sort of following suit and copying MSTR. I think a lot of people are going to be looking at the 450 and the 400 levels on Coinbase and MSTR in tandem. I think it makes a heck of a lot of sense. We're at 122. If we break some fresh highs, great. But I think last week it was more about trading the actual equities. Bitcoin was okay for some reversion plays, and we'll see what happens if in the middle of the day for that. Whoops, I just want to actually accept for the locates on BMNR just in case I want them. I just have to double check. So I just got those. So MSTR is in squeeze territory. It just needs to break out the 450. That said, I like Hood. I think Hood and Coin are the two that I'm going to be looking at. And probably Hood first, Coin second. Because on Friday, I wanted Coinbase breaking out over 400. And it's just, nothing, sell. And just looking at the way that it traded, I think I'd take a shot if we dipped into 380. But I'll probably be looking at a breakout, which is more imminent here on Robinhood. Robinhood is breaking out this top pretty much off the open, and I'm anticipating, that there will be a decent chance at a pullback. And if we do get the dip, I'm looking primely into the 99 area here, and obviously 100 to 100. But I want to play the dip on any fail break and a continuation play here in Robinhood. This is where I want to go for the long. Coinbase looks great as well. It's just a little further away from getting that breakout.
Yeah, I like the setup there on Hood for sure. I'm watching that one as well. So thank you, Neil, for pointing that one out. MSTR and Coinbase also top of my list as well. Kind of covered this a little bit in the morning session there, but we were like, okay, leg consolidation, relative volume on Friday. Pretty nice chop here with a high, defined highs in and around just shy of 440s. You can see already in the pre-market gap up, pullback, holding that prior level as a bit of support. So let's see if we can continue this sentiment coming in off of the open. Again, already doing significant relative volume over 2.5 times, pretty much sustained from the 4 a.m. open here on MSTR. Now Coinbase as well, kind of a similar story, but on the chart looking distinctly different, because again, you see MSTR gapping up above its prior day's levels. Coin, not so much. Coin here, that 395. I remember I was involved in this one on Friday as well. Beautiful short action there off of the open, and didn't really re-engage later as, again, that supply underneath that 395 comes in once again. So the question becomes here, Neil, it's still holding underneath that 394. So the question becomes, can we effectively break prior day's high? We see we have some pre-market levels as well in and around that 398. So the question is the same. Can we kind of accumulate inventory in an effective way, maybe holding some trends, holding some moving averages in order to take it into 400, into and through 400 if that move presents itself to us today? But if supply steps right back in, as it did on Friday, we kind of have some range here as well to see what levels we can potentially come into, some prior day, end of day consolidation ranges, prior day high and low as well. Now we can't forget some of these other stocks that are pretty related as well. I got GBTC on watch as well, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, again, very in line with what Bitcoin is doing. And then you also have IBIT as well. I know Joe likes to trade this one very often, again, giving that gap up as well. So you're going to have opportunities, you're going to have a lot of trades potentially here setting up today. So Bitcoin space definitely on watch. Some of the top names on the watch list today are definitely crypto names.
All right, let's talk Tesla hanging out here near the highs so far this morning. I mean, nothing significant as far as a storyline goes so far this morning. There was a lot of rumors floating around over the past couple of days and weeks about the possibility of XAI and Tesla merging into the same company. Elon comes out over the weekend, says Not quite yet. He didn't actually definitely say it's not going to happen. He just said not now.
You didn't see any videos online of the integration with XAI into Teslas, right? Neither have I.
No.
Okay, just making sure, because that nothing was released. All right, Elon publicly stated he does not support a merger between Tesla and his startup XAI in response to a poll on X. The statement comes as speculation rises around the potential integration of Musk's various companies, particularly the growing role of AI in Tesla's ecosystem. Musk hinted, though, Tesla may hold, though, Brendo, a shareholder meeting on investing in XAI, although no date is confirmed. This follows a 2024 public poll on X where a majority of Musk's followers supported a $5 billion investment in XAI. The Wall Street Journal also reported that SpaceX has agreed to invest $2 billion in XAI as a part of a broader $10 billion funding effort. And lots is being made online now about XAI continues to scale aggressively. Some people billing Grok 4 as the most advanced and most intelligent AI to date. Independent testers say Grok 4 performs above average, though exact capabilities remain under scrutiny. And we know usually if Elon's done something quite well, he's not going to get the accolades immediately. He's going to have to pull it out of your hand.
Yeah, I saw on the weekend it topped all of the ratings charts or whatever you want to call them for the latest models as well. So Grok 4 just I haven't got my hands on it yet.
No, and people are saying the heavy version is insane, like having multiple PhDs just there at your disposal.
Like the one thing I've noticed about ChatGPT lately is that yes, the reasoning side of it is very, very in depth. It'll take 10 minutes sometimes to go and find all the information, but it still tends to make shit up a lot.
Very true.
Yeah.
Hallucinating.
Yeah. Anyways, Tesla guys.
Hey,
perfect. Well, here's what I know. Not a single person, once again, nobody mentioned a thing about the America Party or any of the controversy. And since then, we have gone up, 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 filled in the gap. And the day before that, well, I mean, it was the Friday, 2 Fridays ago. The top was about a 319. We have filled that gap right back in. It sets up for a breakout today. In my note, I got a Tesla 319 break, and I'll play dips back into what seems like an obvious area of support. That same day, you had a bottom at 12. In the afternoon before that, on Thursday, you had 12, and then we closed just slightly above 312. So if we go dip hunting, it's going to be at 312. We break out, it's at 319 here on Tesla. That's what I'm looking forward to. Whether or not they end up making that investment, who knows? I think that's it's certainly interesting. I don't know that it's going to weigh on the stock today.
Yeah, no, I think coming into today, Tesla was on my watch due to that catalyst as well. And again, we're getting that bit of a continuation. Like Neil said, we've been trending up since last week. We got that gap down on Monday, and a lot of aggressive volume, lots of relative volume, and higher highs and higher lows since then, and coming back into reference prices of the prior day from that aggressive drop, which was Thursday. Again, shortened week, the prior week before, and I'm just watching this high right here, 322s, 322 halves right there. If we can continue this trend, can we get through that level from last week is what I'm asking. And I think, yeah, a little bit of interesting sentiment there with the XAI. I think it'll be awesome if they do a little bit of a merge. But regardless of whether that'll come into fruition or not, it seems like Tesla is looking to continue the trend that it pushed into going into the end of last week, which was a bit of an uptrend, revisiting some of those prior levels here. Again, higher time frame. We know that this thing kind of came all the way down into 290s and then pushing right back up. So higher highs, higher lows after this aggressive pullback that we kind of based off of in, when was this, I guess, March, April, May, and then pulling up off of those as well. So once again, stair-stepping a little bit higher, this time on top of 300 is Tesla. Can we get a little bit higher? I like the build-up from last week. Let's see if we get that continuation today. But I think Neil's definitely right. I don't know how much that XAI is going to weigh in on today's price action, but if we catch a bid, maybe it's a little bit of confluence.
It's the robo-taxi time, baby. We got to be talking about the things that matter here, and I think that's the exciting.
Yeah,
that's the exciting part. It's expansion. I saw in the chat. It's Saskatchewan in the chat. Tesla's story is more so the expansion of robo-taxi service in Austin. Well, that's what we're talking about. That's what matters now. But unfortunately, not everything is bullish because the first two stores, I guess, we're looking for some longs. Upstart, yikes, not good.
Yeah, ugly. I think further on that Tesla angle, the robotaxi angle specifically, it's the technology they're using. In typical Elon fashion, he has to go about it in an entirely different way from everyone else. And as you said, the hard way compared to everyone else as well. So got to give it time. Yeah, UPST, ugly. Goldman says sell this thing immediately.
They don't like it at all, Brendo. So Will Nance, the analyst at Goldman, assumed coverage of Upstart with a sell rating at $71, suggesting basically a 10% downside from when they issued it. You can see we kind of topped up there last week at $81. We're down, losing 71 as we speak. The firm sees the take rate compression risk from the company's shift up market. However, they still view Upstart as a top marketplace lender. Tell that to the sell rating, though. How do you have a sell rating and then label them a top marketplace lender? Don't get that.
If you look at that higher time frame, I think they just want more lower. Because I mean, the chart is actually constructive, coming back into some moving averages. Looks okay, guys, for Upstart.
I mean, yeah, I see where it looks like it's okay. Like, I get it. Like, this could pull back into 60 and be like, that's all right. So oddly enough, it was a firm with the story on Friday of yada yada fintech payment companies having to pay up for data. I like it a firm short, but Upstart kind of looks similar. Not the exact same type of setup, but this to me is broken trend here on Upstart. There you go. Like, you're breaking the trend on the daily with this move in, and it kind of sets up. It was a flat bottom under 75. I guess the real reason to not be looking at this instead is just how far it's already dropped from this area 74 to 75, where I'd want to play short, and then you've already made the move back into here, like 71. So it's like you need to consolidate and break down even further, which you could, or I just feel like I'll go to another type of name here, which I just feel like it's underneath already that secondary spot, like around here at 64. Like, it's going to give me that consolidation area now on a firm. So two very similar charts. I suppose looking for both of them to the south side. If Upstart bounces into like 73, 74, I think that's a short. If we get any play back into 64, I'm taking a firm to the south side. So yeah, I'm looking to short. And I would probably be looking at Upstart if I wasn't looking squarely at a firm.
Yeah, I think, again, Upstart, like you said, you pointed out the catalyst in the morning. There are a lot of different choices for potential continuation here. We're looking at PayPal, looking at XYZ, looking at Upstart, looking at a firm as well. So yeah, doing relative volume here is, again, something important, I think, kind of encompassing a lot of these stocks in the morning today and giving us that push into that $70 level here on Upstart. We have broken this trend here on Upstart a little bit. Again, just throwing in a bit of a trend line right there. Wow, okay, we're extended off of this anchored VWAP as well, which I have no idea where that's coming from, but probably from a prior earnings level as well. So yeah, look at that. Kind of breaking in the pre-market already is this trend that we've been holding for a few weeks here on Upstart. Yeah, so that's coming in from even prior than this earnings. So should be interesting. I'm looking for that continuation on a lot of these names. Don't know if we're going to get it right off of the bat, because again, this to me, this is support that turned into resistance in the pre-market session. So if we do bid, how much space do I really need to give it to expect or to look for sellers to potentially come back in if support turned into resistance right there? So again, going to keep eyes on some of these names for sure. I like Upstart. I like PayPal as well here for that for a similar story, doing relative volume once again and holding some of those levels from prior week. A firm as well, a firm kind of coming in to some of those prior support levels from a few weeks ago as well. So looking for that continuation. Don't know if we're going to get it right off the bat, but let's see if sellers step into some of these names.
Before we get into, oh, there we go. VinFast is ramping up its India expansion, partnering with 13 major dealer groups to open 32 dealerships across 27 cities, including Delhi, Bengaluru, Hyderabad, and Kolkata. The Vietnamese EV maker is building a strong sales service and spares network ahead of the July 15th pre-booking launch of its VF6 and VF7 electric SUVs. They're targeting 35 dealerships by year-end, with a CKD factory set to open later this month in India. VinFast trades under the ticker VFS on the Nasdaq. Scan the QR code for more information if you're interested. And let's talk a little bit more about EVs, as NIO is actually on the run, believe it or not.
Yeah, remember that stock? It's been a while, but apparently their latest offering, the Onvo L90 SUV, pre-sales much higher than expected. The first time in a long time we've heard really any positive headlines for NIO. Xpeng as well, worth noting, following suit this morning. Not as much to the upside, but higher anyway. And
getting a boost here from Chinese exports rising, Brendo, to the tune of 5.8% year over year in June. That beat easily the Reuters guide or the expectations, of 5%, led, by strong demand outside the U.S. and temporary tariff relief. Imports climbed 1.1%, marking their first positive growth in 2025. Despite 3 straight months, though, of U.S. export declines, June, which saw a minus 16.1% drop, was a notable improvement over May's 34% drop. So some of the areas and the industries that are seeing a boost here, Brendo, shipments to Southeast Asia rose almost 17%, and to Europe over 7.5%, obviously trying to make up for lost ground in the U.S. Major export gains were seen in rare earths, steel, and integrated circuits, all catching a nice move up. So Chinese ADRs, I was looking at my watch list this morning, mostly green.
Yeah, I was just noting this one, not bad either. This Li Auto looks pretty good. Very, very light volume so far, but we're right at that high from Friday, guys, for LI.
Li Auto, those look spicy, but like you said, very light volume on Li Auto. Look, for as far as NIO goes, just very clearly on the daily, any dip, you had a huge volume day on Friday. That was the biggest volume it's had in a few months there, as you can see. So I think it's probably some kind of a pullback, like 390 makes the most sense, is the prior high, and is also where it closed. So I think you're probably going dip hunting on this name. Before I throw it back over to Obi, I know we can talk some Mag 7. I just want to throw up the imbalance locator. BBAI, only notable, well, I mean, NIO's there for 700,000 buy. We just talked about BBAI, 700,000 to the sell side early. Not much else there. CGC, Kenview. So the biggest 2 names, ETHA's in there for a small amount. But I think BBAI still, it's SSR down over 10% on Friday. The biggest sell here on the locator.
Yeah, that NIO, again, I pointed this one out to you in the morning as well. I like that. That's interesting to me as well, Brendo, where it kind of gave up all of that move, and now just a bit of a crumble, lack of volume in the pre-market, but kind of coming back into some of those prior days highs. Very, very interesting kind of action to me. I'm just asking 2 questions. Is this supply going to come in? And if it doesn't, are we going to sustain effectively for the next move up? Kind of putting those players from last week, anybody and everybody who's short on Friday, maybe still holding, maybe a little bit underwater through some of these highs. You can see these prior highs as well, just above 2866 is 1, 2, 3 triple top, where supply also came in a couple of times back to back. So some interesting levels that Li Auto is coming back up into. And again, this ticker has been sold off pretty aggressively as well. So going back to a 3-hour chart, you know that this thing has come down from its former glory, but holding a little bit of a stair step as well. So interesting levels on the horizon. Let's see if we can get there on Li Auto today.
Wrap things up here. Meta not doing much right now, possibly to the downside. However, there is this legal note. Sharif will mention it in a second here, but Friday pretty weak, ends the session going into the weekend. Almost back at the lows ahead of what could be a challenging week here.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting here. So Meta not directly named in the lawsuit, but Mark Zuckerberg will be testifying in an $8 billion shareholder lawsuit tied to Facebook's mishandling of user data. Shareholders allege Zuckerberg and other executives at Meta ignored the risks tied to a 2012 FTC agreement and failed to prevent the Cambridge Analytica breach. The scandal erupted back in 2018 after it was revealed Cambridge Analytica accessed data from millions of Facebook users without consent. The data was used to support, according to some reports, Trump's 2026 presidential campaign. Meta ultimately paid $5 billion in regulatory fines and settlements related to the data breach. Defendants here include ex-COO Sheryl Sandberg, as well as board members Peter Thiel, Brendo, Reed Hastings, and Mark Andreessen, some big names listed in this lawsuit. We'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah, one of those things that just seems to not want to go away, but we'll see what happens with that coming up this week, guys. But Meta, I mean, big $700 stock, one to watch maybe if the market continues downside.
Certainly, although the Nasdaq just got a little bit of a bump there. Like I said, there was no big imbalances, but I did see a few things move. Alphabet with a move to the upside. I saw Nvidia move to the downside. I think if I'm looking at Meta, I'd be concerned with it breaking down under 710. I'm not watching Meta today. Of the Mag 7 names, Nvidia, let me just zoom it in very quickly for you. I like an over-under play off the 164.5. Like, I just want to see the opening range on this stock, prior resistance, turning into like a bit of a double bottom. But we need to hold this in the opening range for it to be any good. Otherwise, it's just another make an all-time high and do a pullback. If we close out here in the opening range above 164.5, I'll be playing alongside Nvidia. We already talked Tesla to the breakout. Robinhood looking pretty good for potential break. I do like a firm over Upstart to the south side, but both of those incredibly weak as we're about to get to the bell for the first time this week. There is a Dara. Should be a fun one. We get earnings, bank earnings starting this week as well. We'll talk about that a little bit later on today. Let's go. Ooh, and right away, Nvidia, well, you can want it to be strong off the open, but the first move was rather precipitously to a said downside. So initially, we're getting a downside play. Even though the market's looking strong, Nvidia headed to the downside. Tesla as well, like that for 319 break. It dips. I want 312 somewhere in here if we're going to go to the downside. Otherwise, we're waiting for it to break out that 319. And Robinhood, certainly a chance that it can break out that high in the next little bit. Bitcoin at 121, not really doing as much there, Obi. But the hooded one looking pretty strong. Here comes Tesla. Tesla's probably going to break this first.
Yeah, again, I'm going to be patient. I'm waiting. I'm watching this hood. I'm watching Tesla as well. Tesla's going, market tailwind coming in real hot, going into the open as well here. So again, got to be patient. Tesla 320s potentially on the horizon as well, and then hood coming into that 101 halves as well. Curious to know if or not that supply steps back in. Here's hood going through that 101 half. So if we're going to break through this with any sort of conviction, that's what I would like to see there. Nice scalps on Tesla.
Yeah, Tesla just broke. Hood did not break?
Not yet. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Hood didn't break the high. I just looked over. I'm like, did I not get filled in Robinhood? I know I did get filled in Robinhood. What are we talking about? The Tesla broke through the 310. I did get filled in Robinhood. I just was like, where is my fill for a quick little second there? But yeah, Tesla goes right through to the 321 on the 319 break. So it goes a couple of dollars initially. I wanted inventory into 320, was able to take some out on the way. But it's Robinhood. You always want to be more concerned with the one that doesn't go than the one that does go. Look, Tesla obviously fantastic, but Hood breaks out the high. I think I got a late fill on this, so I might have been able to scalp something out, but by the time I actually saw it in my blotter, we were already starting to come right back down. I just gave it to that prior high. You know me. Everyone to each their own. I do not hold on to these. You've got to get out almost instantaneously.
Oh, boy.
Wow, Robin, did you get the reverse?
Yes, sir.
Oh, nice.
You know I love the reversions,
I know
man.
you love
Come
the
on,
reverse.
you know I love the reversions. I got to catch these. Oh, boy. I'm not even watching how much I got. I'm just watching this book, and I'm like, all right, thank you. Come again. 99. So we broke that 101. We broke back through that 100. Oh, boy. False breaks. That's not what I was looking for, to be honest. That's really not what I was looking for. I wanted that push, and I was getting ready to get long. And then when I was like, all right, this pushes, and then it fails to follow through, yeah, I definitely want to be involved there with a little bit of that there as well. So Tesla was another one right there, Neil, as it aggressively pushes. 320s, 322s, oh boy, missed out on that one there. But that thing is going to give us another opportunity. Hopefully, Alphabet was the other one, Neil. I was like, Alphabet's continuing. In the pre-market already, I was like, okay, this thing is going aggressively right now.
Whoa, 322 just went.
Yeah, so 322s on Tesla.
Sorry,
Tesla's
Tesla.
aggressively strong, man.
Tesla's going absolutely ham. It goes through 322 just now. I think let's zoom it out for a quick little second. We just tagged the 50 period on the daily after gapping above the 200. I think we've got, 323 is resistance, so I guess I'm holding at this point through that. I'll see if we get one dip back into 320 that might be able to get us into it, but not everything is looking rosy here. I don't know if you've taken a gander at any of the chip names. Nvidia went red, and Yeah, it really went red here. Big hammer candle to the downside on NVIDIA at the open, not looking healthy whatsoever. And then just to go across the group, you've got AMD headed to the downside, maybe not as bad as NVIDIA, but not looking too healthy either. So a couple of names to the red. And obviously, I know people want to talk about and look at crypto. MicroStrategy, I don't know if you got Coinbase up. MicroStrategy broke the 450.
Congratulations!
Everybody who has this name going on the squeeze. Coinbase, however, did not break 400, so maybe that's still yet to come. Definitely a strong day for a group of stocks, but man, the Nasdaq pulling back a little bit here. The chips not looking very healthy. And the short I wanted was going to be in the payment space. Unfortunately, firm didn't really pop much to get me into the short yet. Yet is the
Yeah, so we came back up to 101s. I covered a little bit, still holding on to some right now. And oh boy, are we going to crack through this day low now on Robinhood. Day lows coming in at 99.5. So we're kind of coming right back up into that 100 mark. So it seems like supply does step right back in, right off of the open on Robinhood. And sure, we can kind of talk about potentially why or what we were looking for. And again, something like a hood on a day where, again, crypto is at all-time highs. Yep. And we were talking about how the sell-off, the aggressive selling that kind of came in on Friday, maybe not really, not necessarily really warranted. And it doesn't really break out of those highs. So false break, crowded trade, people potentially on offside. I like it, and it kind of gave you a bid of perspective when that bid just pretty much vanished off of the open back through that 101 all the way down to 99.5. That's absolutely crazy there on Hood. But Tesla as well, giving us that opportunity. Look at this beautiful reversion. I'm watching Tesla out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, all right, well, I did not have the short on this one here as we pushed all the way from 317s to 322s, and then kind of a pullback in on this one now. So let's see if we can hold VWAP. VWAP's coming in right now here at 19s and some change on Tesla. Amazon, oh boy, I thought that one was primed for a push, but like I said, I didn't make any purchases, not on Prime Day or on the stock on the day today either. So I'm going to be waiting and packing my patience for that one there. Shout out to Sharif. Yeah, no, Tesla was a great one as well. So out of the list that I kind of had on watch, now again, I added a bunch of names on my list. Now this is not necessarily a sticky note. I just have a list of names with potential, I guess, how much it makes sense for me to risk on it, and if that kind of structure sets up intraday, I'll be like, all right, this makes sense for me to indulge in this. But I had Tesla, I had PanW, I had Next, I had LI, I had PayPal, Levi, Hood, Upstart, and Affirm. And out of all of those, Hood probably is the only one that really did what I was looking for or I was involved in. So it is what it is. Where is the next trade? That's what I'm asking.
I'm hoping it's in Affirm, but Affirm, I'm going to get to Affirm and Upstart in a quick little second because they're going in different directions as Sharif's got the food out. No, that Tesla break, when it got to that 322, that's where I took our last out on the way to the upside. It wasn't on the pulling back in, but once we got back under like that quarter mark, it was 319 and a quarter where the first size showed up on the break. This is all the world like it looks like we could pull back into like a 317, 318. I don't want to get anchored to this 319 breakout price. You got VWAP above, you've got the 20 above, just going to be able to make it on the initial push, be happy with it, and move on to what the next setup I think on Tesla can be. And it might still be the long, but if a 15-minute, like if we open a 15-minute bar on weakness underneath 318, you know how nasty this could get. You can get a big time retrace in place. So breakout trades are just built a little bit differently. Affirm and Upstart, very different. Like Affirm pulling into the pre-market high. Now I like this one to 64 as I fight a little bit of a sneeze here. There was the headline on Friday, of course, going to have to pay up for data, but I do not want to fight this too hard. Like I said, pre-market 64 are two different things. Like, am I going to give it another 0.5% just because I liked it here? I don't think so. And then why I was saying Upstart is look at Upstart compared to Affirm. Like, Affirm was still going up when the Upstart just absolutely tanked off the open and then just retraced $2 off of the lows. So $2 off the lows and is catching the other side of it. So if Upstart, which was weaker than Affirm, on a similar sort of headline from Friday and continuation, and it's catching a bid now off the lows. That's a good reason to get out of a firm and be a little bit more patient with it, because it's not the weaker one, A, and B, if they're all headed up, allow it to get higher if I'm going to take this one to the south side. And I think we got look at that. Like, look at Tesla.
Yeah. I mean,
that's why you don't hold on to it. Like, and it's fine. Everyone can do their own thing, but that's why on a breakout trades are different from a lot of other types of long setups where it's like building off consolidation and higher lows and VWAP pullbacks and all that. No, that's a clean break. We've seen this happen a lot in this market where you reverse nastily and the market head to lows. I got NVIDIA's down 1% over here. Robin was breaking that 100 level. I know you're in that one.
Yeah, it's
not looking overly healthy. Do want to jump over, and everybody in here, I see you in the chat talking about Mars. So hit that like, hit that subscribe. We'll cover everything we can. The crypto names are where the strength is right now. Mara up 11%, MSTR going absolutely ham, and that's with Bitcoin not doing much. It's just the squeeze is on. I bet you GameStop's probably rallying in this.
Yeah, GameStop's probably moving as well, man. I'm watching this Tesla, and I'm looking for the bid, and I'm asking myself, where's it at though? Exactly. So it's not even there. It's 316s, 317s. We're coming back through the open here, and I'm like, oh boy, what a beautiful reversion I missed out on. Can I now revert the reversion and kind of try to find that bid, maybe back into VWAP? I have no idea, but this selling is aggressive coming in right off of the open here. So I'm waiting, I'm watching, and seeing if I can potentially get involved with anything interesting here. Let's see, maybe a little bit of a bid coming in as of right now. So let's see if we can catch that reversion back towards that VWAP, and if we can get back towards some of those prior levels as well. If not, that's perfectly fine as well, Neil. Again, just trying a little bit of a stab here as Tesla shake and bakes that morning range here. And Hood still holding that 100 mark pretty well, so I'm waiting, I'm watching. Didn't really get any more involved in that one just yet, but 317 halves holding here on Tesla. Let me know in the chat, what are you guys trading off of the open? It's only been 10 minutes off of the open, and already we've had so many great opportunities, and the market's taken a little bit of a pullback now as well. Oh boy. All right, so let's take a quick look at some of these Mag 7 names, and oh my God, that Alphabet move pretty much wiped everything there. That's
pretty
nasty there.
No,
and
these
NVIDIA. Look at NVIDIA.
Obi, like these are nasty retracements. Like these are traps, left, right, and center. It's a trap. By the way, every single time I make that comment, I'm just gonna say that Admiral Akbar was done wrong, and he was an absolute legend, and he deserved better. That's all I'm gonna say. But you're about to go
You're
red.
just on the wrong ship at the wrong time.
Well, I mean. Or you just have terrible writers. But Alphabet going red any second now. Palantir, like these are strong moves off the open. Like Palantir went like 2-3 points off the open, and it's starting to give it up a little bit. I'm going to throw this one into my bull with the market pulling back like this. I'm going to throw this one back into the bull area. Although the 145 break didn't hold very far, compared to everything else, it's not giving it all up. I'll get back to Tesla in a second, which is breaking the lows as we go to Adara at the desk.
And RCAT, this is one mover that I'm seeing this morning. In case you guys missed it, there were some drone-related catalysts last week. So we know that Pete Hegseth, Defense Secretary, basically, I guess, released a memo in support of kind of furthering this drone technology. So good look here for RCAT. Again, this looks like a bit of a continuation play. I'm not seeing any new news on this. Also be aware, not a ton of economic data coming throughout the day. We will get at 12 p.m. Eastern, Donald Trump speaking at a luncheon. I'll be covering that in case anything market moving happens there. Then at 4 p.m. we'll get the Genius Act committee. So that'll be after the close. The Genius Act, of course, the stablecoin related bill. We know it's crypto week for the House of Representatives. Back to you.
Thank you very much.
We are dropping like it's hot.
Oh boy, yes we are. Whew. Oh my God.
I am so glad I am not in.
Some of these.
Wow, the Tesla is what in the. Yeah. Anyways, 312. I like to break at 3. And my plan was 319 break, 312 dip on Tesla. So it's at least got to get down into here to prior close before I even think about pulling the trigger on this. I want to say piece of nonsense, but that kind of is what it is. Everything else is just dropping like a rocket. NVIDIA just continues to 162. On NVIDIA,
oh boy.
Where's Micron at? Micron holding the lows, I mean, half decently as well. Yikes, yikes, yikes.
Yeah.
Robinhood looks like a great short. Again, like all you can do is get out. Like I liked a couple of breakouts today, but when you take a breakout trade, get out when it's wrong, or certainly get out when it breaks that trend. I'm not going to be fighting to get in too early on any dip buys. As heavy as the tape looks over here, I'm just trying to find some relative strength, everybody, and I'm not really seeing it. Like outside of crypto names and maybe Palantir to a certain extent, I'm not finding a heck of a lot of strength. We'll see where the bid starts to come in here. The Nasdaq's at about VWAP right now. We'll see if it has a little bit of bounce in it.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing any sort of a bid come in here, Neil. So yeah, no, that Tesla, you know what? We'll let that one kind of, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We'll let that one kind of move there. Hood, yes, sir. Circle.
Remember this?
Yes. Yes, I do.
So we were bearish on Circle because of Circle. I'm just going to set up. I think this is a breakout through 191. What I want to do, because I think this could squeeze a little bit. I'm just going to put the order first, and then I'm going to explain later. That way, if it breaks, I have the position, right? Like I get in this habit of like talking first, and then I don't put the order. So Circle, we were talking about this being a continuation. Core, we've been going for a couple of days to the downside, whereas Circle had just started breaking down underneath $200, and then you look for continuation short. Logically makes sense. But if they're in the crypto space and it hasn't broken away yet, and everything is weak with the exception of crypto names, I'm thinking why not go for the squeeze play on Circle. It's just a breakout, so that way if I'm wrong, I can get out of it almost instantly, which is a function of the breakout, which I like. I suppose you could also short off of this level as well, but I'm kind of in wait and see mode. I don't want to chase shorts at this moment as we're breaking lows. I just have to wait for something to set up. Like what's wild is the only place that I went to the short side, like a firm fills in the gap. That's why you get out. You know, like hold your winners for bigger and get out tight when you're wrong, because a firm for whatever reason is looking kind of strong here. Come on, Tesla, do something. But I think this Circle's setting up pretty nicely.
I think this Hood is kind of reverting back pretty aggressively back into VWAP. So again, covered majority of everything there. Just taking out the last pieces now. Okay, so there you go. So back through VWAP. I don't necessarily want to be here as of right now. Sure, I can get a reload here for a potential continuation to the downside, but I'm going to be a little bit more patient and kind of let it chop around. If you're going to chop around that 100 this many times, I'm going to let you kind of do your thing and just sit back and watch for now. But yeah, that Tesla is still kind of chopping around some of these lows as of right now. So we'll let that one kind of work around, jump around and see where that one really goes. I'm going to look at the chat here, see what you guys are trading. Tossed, yeah, I don't know. It depends. Can it ride the beat that well? I have no idea. But
well, I mean, it's the cream of the crop.
Yes.
And it rises to the top.
Yes. Now,
I never eat a pig. Well, I'm not going to say the rest of that because it's kind of.
Yeah, I don't know this reference. I just, yeah.
I never eat a pig because a pig is a cop. But better you get a Terminator like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Try to play me out like if my name was Sega. You don't know that one?
Oh,
okay.
No. All right.
No, that's fine. Look, man, I'm old.
Bars.
No, I'm old.
Straight bars.
It's just like I said. Somebody gets that. You guys know that. Please, you guys know that in the chat.
Oh no.
Thank you, Turner Music Productions. Oh, thank you. Because for a second there, I'm like, that'd just be embarrassing if absolutely nobody got that reference. Like, I'm not that old, everybody.
Oh, boy.
Okay, what was I saying?
The bid on the market come in. Let's go.
The bid's coming in the market. The only thing that was relatively strong outside of those crypto names, I said, was Palantir. And a big shout out to everybody that was mentioning Palantir, because look at this classic VWAP hold, everybody. 144 even. So you get a wick under 144 even, breaks back above the 420 in the volume weighted average price. Stop goes under the prior bar low. Actually, just a couple of shekels underneath. 145 is big resistance, so I should get orders out in front of that. Let's see if we can't go to the upside in Palantir. You had to be a little bit patient with you for that as well. Come on, pop up. I just offered 78 and it went to 77. It's still, there we go. Just got to fill into 145. So find where the strength is. I'm on the wrong page. So we'll jump to that. I wanted to hit something else, but let's see if Palantir can continue. I'm away from Tesla. Circle did not break out, so we'll just go for Palantir continuation. You got to be willing to pivot When the market did that and nothing I was looking at for long set up anymore, we jump over to something that was strong. And it's pretty clean. It bounced right off the volume-weighted average price. Love that classic setup. Was that a call for Adara?
I don't think
It was not. I am incorrect. Well, it was something. You'll have to repeat that for me.
Yeah, this. So I'm just looking at the Mag 7s here, Neil. I'm noticing that both the SPY and the Nasdaq. Look at this, absolutely beautiful. SPY almost back to its opening range highs right there. Beautiful shake and bake right here, coming right in. Nasdaq not quite there just yet. Still about what is this? About 40. Just about 40, 60 points away, or $60 away from that there. Tesla finally catching a little bit of a bid. Can we get back up to VWAP? VWAP on my chart here I have at 318s. Come on. Don't you guys love the XAI potential takeover speculation? I don't know, but that's me potentially
Why
talking
would that
to.
be bullish?
That's me trying to talk to the bidders, trying to convince them. But no, I'm joking. I'm just seeing that the selling did kind of dissipate here on top of that 315. Just trying to stay involved for a potential reversion, and the market is probably the best place to take the reversion and then the reversion of the reversion itself, because this shake and bake is absolutely beautiful. I love this price action here. Hood still cannot do anything meaningful with $100. So glad I got out of that one. That one was absolutely crazy here. It kind of flushed all the way down right off of open. False break of pre-market highs as well as some of those prior highs there. And it seems like some of those VWAP, some of those sellers coming right back in at that VWAP as well. So, but still chopping around 100. So where is the next trade? That's what I'm asking. Let's see. Out of some of the semiconductor basket I have here, Neil, there is one stock that is looking distinctly different than the rest of them, and that is SMCI. If you compare that to NVIDIA, ARM, TSM, Micron, AMD, or Intel, all of those look distinctly the same, and this one looking distinctly different. Now you just got to find my chart over here so we can pull in that SMCI right here. Yeah, exactly. So a little bit of a push. So we attempted to push a little bit lower. 48.78 is the day low, but look at that little push back up. Not really doing relative volume. I was hoping to see some relative volume, but distinctly different than that of NVIDIA or anything else right here. You can see that NVIDIA down in the dumps right off of the open. Absolute strength to the downside. I know when we talk about strength, there's a connotation towards for it being only long. I don't necessarily carry that view at all. I'm like, if something is strong, it is strong. Which direction? I have no idea, right? If price action is strong, I don't really relate it to going up or going down. It's strong directionally, right? So this is very, very aggressive to the downside. Strength is definitely what sellers had off of the open here on NVIDIA to the downside. 162.02's current day low, pretty much giving it all back from Friday. Friday aggressive move, beautiful reversion as well. I tried to get involved with this one here. Didn't really, I got involved here for a little bit of a breadcrumb into VWAP, and I was like, all right, I scratched that itch. I really do like the short, and look at that, coming in, follow through, coming in on Monday at the beginning of the week, kind of giving back that action from Friday there. Oh boy, nice trade on Palantir.
Palantir goes right into the, so it goes basically VWAP into the high, almost clean. Like, remember we were saying like 145. So there's, look, it's kind of obvious here. VWAP hold. These bars are at 144.8, so I sell some in front of there. Then I hold for the high of the day. That's just usually the plan of action. But if there's a name out here that's going to buck the trend, then why not have it be Palantir? Because you know what? Forget about buck the trend. We're about to go green again. But if we reject the high and this topping tail candle on the Nasdaq holds, like we do that huge recovery off that flush at the open. Remember, it was breakout, flush. If we break it back out, I still would be inclined, instead of maybe going back to the well on something like Tesla, to go to a name, to continue with a name that is strong. So I think I'm going to keep Palantir up here and then look for something either off VWAP or maybe it'll hold 145 on a higher break. If the market takes out highs, you can always look at a 146 break, although that just failed. Like, I look over at Tesla, and as much as I want to be bullish on Tesla again because it was so good off the open, I'm seeing that doesn't look that great to me yet. Like, it's I'd say yeah, because it does do a bottom until it holds 315. I want to see that higher low for some continuation and TSLA. Even the chips aren't looking that great for myself. So I'm going to be patient. We've been fortunate. And thank you everyone that was yelling about Palantir. That wasn't on my that wasn't even on the trade plan this morning. It just, you could see it set up when the market came bouncing back higher. It was the only thing that was holding like a bull flag or above VWAP. So you just jump over to it. NIO, hey, it's that kind of a market. NIO up 7.5% and one of the strongest stocks out there. It did not dip into 390. It's holding those highs and trending well. Good day for the Chinese EVs. I don't really feel, this was not really something that I wanted to be trading in here today. So I got my eyeballs on Tesla. Still hoping NVIDIA can make some kind of a turnaround, although this doesn't look very good.
Like a little bit of selling in the beginning of the week.
Yeah, like they're stair-stepping to the downside. That's a strong push up, but if you don't break back out above 163.25 here, it might not be constructive. Like NVIDIA's at the lows when the market's trying to retake the highs. That is not the strength that we're looking for.
No, these are not the tickers that you were looking for. So what I'm looking for is the next trade here. Got Tesla on watch. I'm reading through the chat as well. So be sure to first of all like and subscribe so you can post in the chat and can stay involved with some of the activities that happen in the chat, like the voting polls and just interactions as well. But DJT short saying bullet leg. Okay, interesting. Let's take a quick look at DJT on a 3-minute chart. Okay, nice. A little bit of a pullback down, continuation from what seems like Friday's action here on DJT as well. You were talking about GME potentially moving around on that on the crypto move there. Let's see what that's been doing. Nothing too crazy just yet, Neil, but holding within prior day's range pretty well here on GameStop. Circle, what's going on with Circle here? So let's take a quick look. Okay, Circle pushing. All right. So we got a little bit of a bid on that one there. Beautiful selling coming into Friday on Circle. Nice little rollover happening on this one here as well. And then CoreWeave, CRWV, that was another one that I had potentially on watch as well. So if we can pull that one up. Okay, so a little bit of a bid coming in off of the open. Relative volume 1.5, 1.75, so holding pretty nicely to the upside as of right now here on CoreWeave, breaking a little bit of a trend that we were doing going into the end of the week. And look at that aggressive kind of a downtrend on Thursday and Friday last week, coming in with a little bit of a bid going into this week right now. So definitely going to be one to watch out for, but a little bit of a backside on this one if we do kind of take a closer look at the higher time frames here. So 3-hour chart, take that VWAP out of the way. You can see that it's been rolling over pretty nicely here, broke this consolidation at the 150s, 160s. Let's see how much lower it can get. I'm looking for a potential push of that 100 mark, but who knows when and if that'll potentially come as well. So Tesla coming back into the day lows, man. So it looks like that is very likely or unlikely to work as of right now as selling kind of comes back into this market. We got this aggressive bid right back up, bit of a shake and bake here. SPY actually breaking its range high and giving us a little bit of a false break for that push back into some of these lower ends of the range. So let's see if it'll come in here on the market. Tesla's definitely looking to potentially push that fresh low. Hood still holding up here as of right now. Let me go through the list of stocks that I had on my watch list.
Just very quickly, yes. Circle did break this that consolidation. Ooh. Oh, position board just disappeared for a split second, but I can show you. I just wanted to make sure we got the executions. I did take the breakout on Circle. It went 191 into 192, and then immediately lost like the prior bar low, just as you were saying, the futures pulled back a little bit here. So I mean, it's a muted success. It gave you the initial scalp trade on the break. When Circle goes, I'm thinking squeeze, and I wanted. Yeah, let's be real. Like I wanted the push to take us right into 94, 95, just very clean. And if it's not going to be clean, I don't want to be fighting any breakout longs like I showed you guys with Tesla. And again, it just, the way the reversions have been coming back in on these false breaks, I don't think you want to get caught in one of those. You're better off to buy, like if you like the longs in a general sense, like buying dips on trend, like that's $2 down. Like you didn't give up a whole point. On this, you might as well be patient, wait for it to get down to 189, show you a bounce, instead of just trying to hold a breakout all the way. And if anything, the breakout could have been clean a little bit lower. So I'll just duck out of that one. It still might, look, at the end of the day, it might have been a better long, but I can live with that. Because for every time that I have one of those, or anybody where you're going to do that, and you're like, oh man, it goes higher, I should have held on to it. Trust me, because the other side of that is, well, but what if Tesla went to 320? Yeah, Tesla could have done it too, but Tesla continued to trend down. So that's the reason I duck out of the breakout trade, because I just rather bank the profit with the trading strategy as we like it. I do want to, before we go back over to Obi, I just want to go back over to Palantir, one of the relatively strong names in this market, pulling back into VWAP. So that's where we got the bounce the first time. I'll look for another continuation play off the volume-weighted average price. Palantir, no specific story that I saw, just Palantir being Palantir, I guess.
Yeah, no, I think again a lot of movement in this market as well. We're hearing about bigger players doing some positioning as well. So I think when we're getting some directional moves without any catalyst or any aggressive moves as well, I think. We were having a conversation about this last week as well. It's like the traditional sense of what might be in play can change over time, right? And sometimes if it's just purely technical, I think it's definitely worth dabbling in as well. It doesn't necessarily always have to have a news catalyst. I think technical catalysts are more than valid as well. But yeah, let's go.
We're about to go to happening now. BMNR halted. Again. High of day.
Hey, yo.
Halted down, now halted up. Good luck, everybody. Let's go to Adair.
Before we get to what's happening now, we're going to take a moment to thank our friends at Top One Futures. Are you looking to trade futures like the Nasdaq, SPY, or even Bitcoin? Top One Futures is one of the fastest growing prop firms out there. They give traders the chance to manage up to $1 million in capital. Pick your path: instant funded, challenge, or pro account, and start trading your way to real payouts and even a live account. In the last 90 days alone, they have paid out over $10 million and earned more than 1,000 five-star reviews from real traders. Use the discount code TTV, that's TTV, to save on any account. Scan the QR code or head to top1futures.com and start trading towards your next payout. Here's the S&P 500. As you can see here, super choppy in these first 15 minutes. Lots of support here around that 622 area, but making a slightly lower high on this 15-minute chart. Let's take a look at the Nasdaq, looking almost identical, though, interestingly enough, finding support a little bit lower than its pre-market consolidation level, unlike S&P 500. Now, we have to talk about, of course, the cream of the crop here this morning, I'd argue, MSTR, but more specifically, Bitcoin. We know BTC made a new all-time high here, just around 123,000 this morning. So crypto still very strong. Ethereum to boot. So MSTR, MARACOIN, any of these types of tickers certainly on watch today. Also on watch, a lot of these Mag 7 names, including META. Mark Zuckerberg expected to appear as a witness in this $8 billion trial over privacy violation allegations related to the Cambridge Analytica scandal. We also have Meta reportedly acquiring Play AI, and then we have Fastenal trying to bounce right now. This one had a nice push off the open. Gap up here on a double earnings beat. We know bank earnings are really going to kick off the season in earnest tomorrow morning before the bell. Back to you.
Right, JP Morgan, everybody. That'll be a good one.
Earnings
season back in play, everybody. I see Roger Noonan in the chat. Long silver, a little SLV action. Continue to get pulled up by. Well, let's be real. Getting pulled up by gold. Oh, come on. You can't look at SLV on a daily chart. Does not do the move justice. You got to look at, let's look at a monthly chart. I'm pretty sure, yeah, you got to look at a monthly chart for this. This is why you got to look at a monthly chart for SLV. Oh yeah, it's on an absolute tear. These are historical, there's a big historical breakout happening, I think, off the 34 level on SLV, continuation. It's got a lot of room, suffice to say. There you go. Out into the 40 range, it seems like is the next push to the upside. So you think it's only Bitcoin that goes? You think it's only gold that goes? You think it's only the market that goes? No. You got bull markets pretty much everywhere. Silver, don't at me. It's one of those everyone calls it a manipulated market, the silver market. Yeah, well, it's considered to be one of the more, whatever. Big players manipulate or control. Whatever term you want to use, big players control a lot of different markets. It's not just silver. Oh, yeah. It's not just natural gas. It's not just certain commodities. Yeah. But this one,
it's not only small caps.
Gets a lot of a rap. Just quickly over NVIDIA's. It's looking a little bit better. I can tell you what I'm watching. I still have eyeballs on Tesla. NVIDIA's starting to look a little bit stronger, but I feel as if the continuation, at least for myself, still might be in Palantir as it tries to pull back in. It's on uptrend. I'd love it to hold this higher low, and then we can get back into the top. Let's be patient with it. We caught it down in this move the last time. But is NVIDIA at VWAP as it's, I guess the shine is wearing off from all the excitement over Jensen going to China. And, and obviously that.
It's Wednesday, I think.
Well, there's like a press conference or whatever he's calling it, a presser on Wednesday. Hopefully negotiations go well. And if they do, that's the big bargaining chip, obviously, for the U.S. With China, and that can maybe lead to some deals being made. And I think everyone kind of wants to see some pen to put to paper to justify this market rally. And this Nasdaq seems to want green here. Obi?
Yeah, no, it's catching a little bit of a bounce, right? We talk about reverting the reversion, and now once again, we're getting a bit of that continuation. Let's see if we can kind of break back above some of those opening range highs. But again, pretty much sideways chop on a lot of things here. I'm in this Tesla right now, but sideways chop it is doing on top of its, I guess, opening range lows right now. And the market's looking a little distinctly different relative to that of Tesla as well, kind of coming back to its opening range highs or trying to attempt to push towards its opening range highs here on the Nasdaq and the ES as well. So let's see if that'll come into fruition. I'm glad I got out of hood when I did. Because again, it's pretty aggressive back to the upside here. But yeah, that one, that straight off of the open, that one was crazy, aggressive. And oh boy, look at that 101s. As I'm speaking about it, wow. Neil, it is ripping back up to the upside here. 101s coming back in here on hood. Remember that high was 101 halves and some change here, 101.70s maybe. And if that can potentially come in here, oh boy, will that be interesting. If that can kind of give us a little bit of a squeezing action on the intraday. Tesla, okay, coming back into day low. So it seems like that one's not really going to happen as of right now. So going to be patient for that one there. About 9 minutes left for this 15-minute candle, Neil, and the 15-minute candle on Tesla looking like it might be breaking or looking to break its low as well. Okay, so we're getting a bit of a bounce here on chips. NVIDIA back at VWAP, nice. AMD as well. Oh boy, Intel not catching any sort of a bounce. All right.
Intel's gonna Intel, man.
Intel's just gonna. I don't know who has the Intel on that one, but it usually does its own thing. So sometimes, most of the time. PayPal coming into 74 as well. So 74, that was an aggressive push on PayPal. Let me pull up that chart here if I can just see my window. So yeah, let me pull up that PayPal chart. And oh boy, wow, look at that aggressive selling coming in on Tesla. So we got stopped out on that one as we get back through that 315. So that's kind of what I wanted. I was looking for that 315 to hold. Average was 316s. Doesn't really go in. And we lose about a point on that one. So GG, where is the next trade? That's what I'm looking for. CoreWeave, again, interesting stuff there. But we were going to take a look at PayPal. So let's take a look at PayPal right here. So I was looking for that continuation as well on PayPal. I was looking at this a little bit of a base end-of-day consolidation lows, and that happened to be at $70.80. Coming into the open today, though, not really giving us anywhere near those prices as the bid comes in and reverts pretty much all of the move from Friday, coming back into some of these consolidation lows, day lows, or consolidation lows prior to the catalyst that kind of came out across the payment sector here, and that support now acting as a little bit on PayPal. So that's interesting as well. And Levi, again, I said we were going to go through all of the stocks that I kind of had on watch coming into today. And Levi's, again, earnings day 2 was the day today. I think I was looking for that continuation. 22 halves is the pre-market high or opening range high as of right now, but doesn't really make it that far off of it. Coming back into day 1's range lows, currently just above or just below $20. What is that low specifically? $20.97 exactly from Friday. So Levi's, don't know if that one is going to come in the way that I'm looking for. It definitely didn't right off of the open, but I'm going to keep eyes on it as well. Circle, I liked it for the for potential continuation. Again, not doing what I'm looking for. It's not selling off. Sellers are not in charge right now, and it's continuing to push up on the intraday. Now, looking for them to potentially step back in at some of these prior levels, maybe. Perhaps, let's see it happen for me to believe it. Li Auto, again, we covered this in the morning session as well, looking for a potential push of this, and I do have eyes on it, and guess what? It's done nothing. It's done absolutely nothing, just kind of churning, chopping and churning here. Maybe a look on a higher time frame might be necessary. 15-minute wicks to the high side there, kind of maybe signifying that supply may or may not still be sitting here. We talked about those prior levels as well, 2870s, where again, last time we were here, aggressive supply, aggressive supply, aggressive supply. Let's see if we get more of the same, because on Friday we did pretty much wipe the whole day's move back to the day's open.
Obi, I want to get to a super chat here. But before I get to the super chat, got to show you, we tried Palantir again. It was just like before. Like this candle here bounced off 144, took it on the way back up through 144.20. Almost a similar entry. It broke through 145 down on the way back up through 145.20, took the long with the prior low and jumped out of it. So it's going to lose. It could lose VWAP in here, but I just want to make sure I want to take the same trade. I did miss the first punch and ended up having to add to it above 20, but same average price as before. Trying to lose small and hopefully win big. Hopefully we can hold VWAP here, but this market was at the highs or back into those highs, and we're kind of rejecting going green on the Nasdaq. But Barbados Playmaker, good morning. Good morning to you as well. On that Tesla short through 322 at the open, was looking at it from pre-market when you mentioned it. Coffee on me. Well, appreciate it. I've had my coffee this morning, and you know what? This is the best thing about the market. Like I like the breakout long into the 322. You like the short into 322. You can play market action in either direction. Like you can decide to focus on one direction or another. The price levels ultimately can be really important. Like that was sort of an obvious spot if you zoomed it out a little bit to grab your breakout trade. It gives you that 319. It gives you a point. It just so happens to be a percent on that move. But hey, let's be real. As long as you win, that's what it's all about. And we can have different. Like I can prefer the long, you can prefer the short, and you can both make money so long as you have the right entry and the right plan of action. We appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much for that. You can always just sort of add us in the chat if you want to get our attention. Just type our name in there. BMNR. As I'm waiting for Palantir to set up a little bit better for a long, is now up 40%. The story is they doubled their ETH holdings. That was this morning, the 500 million, after what was not necessarily a good week for them last week. Maybe we should show what that looked like. Not necessarily the best week, and it looks like it's breaking back out. It's a decent sized spread. Tons of volume, but liquidity concerns will have it potentially halting if it starts to break, and it can halt in either direction. Just be a little bit careful if you're trading there. Love to trade. Am I waiting for 312 on Tesla? Yeah, 100%. And then Tesla on my note was like the #1 stock. It was a simple breakout trade, and as anybody could tell, long to there, like breakout there to there. That was the first plan, and then it was a dip back into prior highs. I could make an argument that if we're bearish enough, the long could be down into 310. I liked it into more of the 312 area. Once it gets down there, I'll look for reversion plays. I'm just gonna be patient. I don't want to throw away the profits from this morning. Circle was okay. Palantir's been pretty good, and Tesla's been fantastic so far. So I'd love to see it continue to go. If anything, the stock that wasn't any good was that Robinhood breakout through the high. It's back there again. Yeah. Robinhood all the way back through the top. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, well, we can't get fooled again.
Yeah, no, the Robinhood, again, I got eyes on it. It's been doing some interesting stuff here on the day, but luckily enough, got involved with a bit of the trade off of the open, and oh boy, there goes Tesla once again, breaking through those lows. So I tried it a couple of times there, and you know what? It is what it is. Where is the next trade? The bid is clearly not there here on Tesla as of right now. So I tried to attempt once more there. I just taken it back through that 314s. And yeah, selling coming in pretty aggressively. You can see the wick action here on the Nasdaq and a little bit of a green to red here on the ES as well. So this is what I was looking at here on Tesla. I think Neil's looking for this 312 as well. We can see that after hours consolidation just above that on Friday's action. So 4 a.m. low as well, coming in at 313.38. Currently trading at 314 halves, just kind of churning and chopping to the downside here as of right now. So nothing really kind of clear. I'm just taking stabs at potential level holds of some of these pre-market levels here to look for a potential bid. But you can see the bid came in pretty aggressively off of the open. We talked about it. And then since then, we've just been kind of selling off, even with the rest of the market kind of bidding back and taking back a lot of the selling that it did off of the open there. So Tesla, a little distinctly different, might be a little crowded, which it usually is, I would say. But opportunities, yeah, for sure, definitely there. This thing is either a scalper's nightmare or a scalper's paradise, depending on how you're looking at it. That's how I feel about Tesla.
I think if you're super nimble.
Yeah, if you're super nimble, you can definitely take off like half a dollar, $2 off of it.
Like you look at what you could be doing. Like here's an example of what I would mean by that. Is if you're, like, say you're only looking to take every single possible long entry that you like and scalp it, well, look at the prior high, look at the Friday high. So like me, I'm waiting for like 312 to make a move on Tesla, but you could just say, I want it back into the prior high. It dips into here. You see it bounce, and then you take it back through that low 314, 50 cents worth of risk, and then you could scalp half out at better than 1-to-1 and then try to hold it into 16s and VWAPs. But that's that's a sniper-like entry. It's still in the downward trend, but at least it gives you something to look off of. Because ultimately, like what's weird about it is like Tesla was one of the first things to go and super strong, right? And now it's trying to bounce off the lows. Well, look at the Nasdaq. Like the Nasdaq is trying to break back out and go green in through the top. And I'm looking at Tesla through the lows and another stock which I like. We'll see. Palantir at the same time is losing the volume weighted average price. So the strength is certainly maybe not there in some of the early strong names. Like look at Apple. Apple's down 1%. Like we're about to go green on the Nasdaq. Yeah. Apple's under VWAP and at the bottom. Amazon, here's at least something which putting in some higher lows, but again, underneath the volume weighted average price. So you're wondering where is this market strength kind of coming from? Full Christmas tree recovery. It's not my term. Christmas tree recovery or pullback into Google holding a double bottom at 180. This looks pretty solid off of 180 on Alphabet. But you're wondering where that strength is actually coming from, everybody. And I want to say Meta looks one of the best for a typical long breakout setup, but NVIDIA is on the warpath, it seems.
Yeah, no, again, NVIDIA, that grind up in this market has been crazy. I don't know if I've talked to you about this before, but like there's a certain kind of price action which I find is so like I'll get caught up into it. Right? I got caught up into it, and it's like the slow grind. Whether it's a slow grind up or a slow grind down, it kind of it's full of potential false signals. And what I'm starting to realize is the faster I can recognize a steady grind, and I'm trying to revert it or I'm trying to counter trend it, I should just try to stay away as far as possible from that kind of specific grinding action if I am looking to counter or revert there as well. With trend, sure, I think it can definitely be nice as you're looking to get with that grinding, trending action there as well. So sometimes definitely recognizing the kind of price action your trade style should be avoided in is definitely beneficial. That's what I'm finding as well. So yeah, the Nasdaq coming back up into its highs, Spider as well. Oh boy, can we blow past some of these prior highs here? I have no idea, but it's looking like we're poised for a little bit of a push here, Neil. Yeah, market's coming in strong. That NVIDIA reversion is looking really, really nice here as of right now. So definitely a bit of a miss on my part. And again, that reversion coming in not just on NVIDIA. You can see it. It's here on the ES, here on the Nasdaq as well. Sure, the constituents themselves maybe not as reflective exactly as how the futures are reverting, but there are certain names that are definitely taking them there.
Well,
and
Tesla,
Nvidia
you're back into Tesla. That's starting to look
I reloaded
a
on the
little bit
Tesla.
better. It's trying to break a trend. But Ash in the chat has wanted to look at INVZ for a little bit here. Unfortunately for this one, and we always say this, don't mind looking at individual names, but you generally speaking on a small capper are going to want some kind of a catalyst. I, for the life of me, can't find a recent story on this, and clearly it's had some action like last week and a few weeks ago back into the middle of June. But today, down on no volume, unfortunately. So yeah, whatever stair step it was doing, it kind of lost a bid on no volume this morning. These are the kind of things you got to sit out. You wait for them to have a catalyst. And there's nothing wrong with joining momentum in a sense to make profit, but overall, this is like it's got a momentum up. Like if you're swing long this, you're absolutely fine, but there's really nothing going on today. Could just be maybe it's going to consolidate and wait for the next reason to go to the upside. But until I would see one, it's either you're holding it now or waiting for it to do something. So I don't have the do something key, and if I did, believe me, I would hit it. NVIDIA is certainly doing something. Palantir still can't seem to catch a bid to jump back into it. I know, yeah, maybe Tesla doesn't get all the way down to 312, but it's still putting in lower highs and kind of lower lows. So I'm going to be patient with that Tesla reload. It really just seems like Robinhood. Yeah, Robinhood's really Robinhood's trying to go here. Like Bitcoin's not doing anything, but Robinhood with that reversal, you know there's some shorts down here at 100. Like the way it broke that pre-market low, there's shorts in here that maybe have held on to it, thinking they're going to give it to the top. So I think I give this a shot if we get to VWAP, or we just retake the break of the top here on Robinhood. I just want to wait for that next opportunity, that next trade. Everybody, let me know what else you guys are looking at here, what is piquing your interest, as we're going to go to Adara, actually in timely fashion, and get our small cap recap.
IWM, really nice push higher here just throughout the day. We were kind of below this day high here of 222.60s, but holding on pretty well. It's worth noting as well, though, that even this move up to the upside is not going to really be able to eclipse this action the last 2 days. So we're still well below what looks like our high of a week from last week, around 226. Not a bad way to start the session at all, though. It looks like we've only had green candles on the IWM. Another area that's had a lot of green candles as of late is crypto, and that's where we get this first small cap ticker on watch today, CAN. Canaan. Canaan and IREN are both small cap crypto related tickers you can keep an eye on. CAN for its part is about a 16% short float. Then we have SQFT. This one I'm seeing a float of under 1 million shares, around 910,000. This is called Presidio Property. I'm not seeing any news on this. About a month ago, it regained Nasdaq compliance, but nothing since then. Then we have MGRM, Monogram Technologies, announcing that Zimmer Biomet's going to be acquiring the company for $4.04 per share, currently trading here around $5.50. Make sure to like and subscribe as we send you back to the guys.
As I said, one note on that MGRM, $4.04 cash, $12, the contingent value right worth up to $12.37. Which is wild. That's one of the bigger CVRs that I've ever seen in recently. So this thing is not some automatic sell back into $4. That being said, if by some minor miracle this stock gets down to $4, I'd just be buying the living you know what out of it. It's not going to happen, although maybe it does because I want it to. But yeah, just be very careful with those because oftentimes you're like, well, it should go down to the price. Not in this particular case. It's not that simple. All right, Palantir is starting to look a little bit better. It just bounced off the 144, which that's going to be the prior high. It's trying to retake trend. So it's trying to break the downtrend from the high, which would happen here at the volume weighted average price. I think this is one that I stick with as a long, at least for now. Robinhood not looking like it's breaking back out. The market is taking out the high, so I do want to be back into a long here at some point. It's just going to be this or Robinhood, and let me save that for everybody. I'm seeing in the chat, AMD, just like NVIDIA, look at the program buying going on here in AMD, just like NVIDIA. Like NVIDIA and AMD have this somewhat V-shaped recovery going on here. Maybe it is stronger, but NVIDIA, my plan was to be in NVIDIA a little bit more, and you're coming into a resistance spot, whereas AMD's breaking it. Yeah, I'm going to stick with Palantir for the trade, but good shout out for AMD looking incredibly strong. I think I like this Palantir busting through VWAP as we speak. I'm going to try to get reloaded in that name as the market starts to get a little bit bullish. And crypto, I know we're all excited about Bitcoin over the weekend making fresh all-time highs. Yeah. This is IBIT right now. Bitcoin is doing literally nothing. In fact, pulling back off some of those highs. We've seen this story before on a gap up, where we had the gap up, and this was on Friday, similar strong gap up, do nothing, round up. Eventually, all that doing nothing ended up with a bottom break of the pre-market lows, and then we caught a reversion off the bottom. So I think you got to be patient with Bitcoin. It's other things that are going. It's MicroStrategy, it's Mara that are probably giving you the moves. Like there's Mara up 9%, MSTR. This is where you need to be. Like this is squeezing to the upsides while Bitcoin does absolutely nothing. So you just have to be patient with it. I'm looking for Robinhood because that was the one that was on my list today as it tries to retake that high break here.
All right, guys, so Trade the Pool. We got another behind-the-scenes look at Trade the Pool, but this time we're diving into the community side of Trade the Pool. As you know, each trader gets his or her own hub, and inside one, you'll find Trade Talk, a powerful charting and analysis space where traders map out strategies, break down setups, and share predictions with the community. And if you're looking for real-time interaction, Trade the Pool Discord is the place to be. It's packed with active traders sharing insights, trades, and tips to grow together. At Trade the Pool, you're not trading alone, you're joining a firm that invests in your growth. Technically, mentally, and financially, head to tradethepool.com or scan the QR code on the screen, guys. All right, so this Tesla seems like it doesn't really want to follow what the market's doing because the market's pulling all the way up and Tesla's just grinding near its lows right there. PayPal pushing for some fresh highs as of right now as well. Palo Alto, we talked about that PAN-W potentially being interesting as well, and that's catching a little bit of a bid off of the open as well. So pretty strong bid here. So let's take a quick look at PAN-W alongside everything else. So PAN-W, I did have it on watch today, looking for a potential continuation, and you can see a lot of these stocks that I'm looking for continuation, they are not necessarily working as cleanly. And I think again, a lot of people seeing that directional move and looking for more of the same coming into the next day, maybe not necessarily happening as cleanly as people are looking for, at least as I'm looking for. So some strength coming back up here on Palo Alto, but you can see here very clearly that we have been in a bit of a downtrend since Thursday. Some aggressive selling coming into the stock, still holding within range of this downtrend here as of right now on Palo Alto PAN-W network. So going to keep an eye out on that one as well. There goes a PayPal as well. PayPal coming in up PYPL. PayPal coming in pretty nicely as well. Some aggressive push to the upside as of right now on PayPal.
Same chart as Affirm in here.
Same chart as Affirm, yeah. So it seems like some of these payment structures just getting that push, that reversion of that action, that news that came in on Friday. So yeah, good stuff there. Wasn't necessarily looking for that. And again, something I was looking for was a little bit of an anchored VWAP hold as well off of the event. So we can see right here, boom, anchored VWAP coming in. That gets blasted through right off of the open there coming in on the day. So holding higher highs as of right now on PayPal and a lot of these other
you know what I like right now, though?
What?
Well, okay, I don't like that the market's doing this. I don't like that the market is wicking this top and trying and basically just trying to hold green. But at the same time, like I wanted to firm back in on the short side. And oftentimes, the line I like to use is it's okay to be wrong. It's not okay to stay wrong. And that's in trading. Well, I mean, in life in general, I mean, you can try it in life, see how it works out for you. But I would say in trading, for sure, you don't want to do that. But allow it to finally make a higher low, double top it, and then try to break trend to the point where we close this underneath the trend line, and I can then short that to the prior bar or to the high of the day. That fly is going to get, the fly is going to get got. All right, you see
It's
my
been-
eyes darting
yeah.
around every now and then. This fly.
Fly.
Literally, like, you can't see it, but it's literally on my screen right now. I'm not gonna punch my monitor because like that would just be a silly thing to do. But he's just chilling right there. He's just basically taunting me.
Oh no.
Like this, seriously, I don't even have anything that would be good to smack it because I don't want to hurt my monitor. But anyways, the trade that I'm looking for would be the close underneath of this trend line on a firm and then look for the reversion back into VWAP. And traders community wants us to look at core weave. Yes, we can. We can always look at core weave. Obviously, it's going to be adjacent. Whoa, okay. That was an interesting coincidence. Like the moment I pull it up, it just dropped a bit under 135. Like seriously? So this has been trending higher all morning long, 7%. I think this is like akin to a relief rally. It's bouncing adjacent to the 50 period. It just broke its upward trend. It just broke the 150 last week. Both those things make sense to pull into 120. I think you're getting like half dead cat bounce. I think it's going to be a short at some point. Maybe it's not today. Hey, the first place you take a shot would be this 136. But it is a firm that's on my radar right now for a reversion short. I like the momentum play, but you're already right into first resistance. To me, that's not exactly a place that I'd be punching into the long. You had to like it off the bottom, in my opinion. But good look for if you got it. I'm looking for that reversion on a firm. Like, is this thing dead just sitting on my screen? Are you, like,
No, I see it.
It literally is not moving.
It's trying to take a look at these moves here. I think that's what it's looking for. It seems very interested in the charts.
Oh, it's alive.
Yeah, no, it's alive. It's definitely alive.
Okay.
No, it's again, it was sitting on the Nasdaq chart. It was sitting on the Affirm, and I was like, all right, well, we'll see if we can deal with that one. But right now, let's see what's going on in the crypto world with it.
Get it, Adara.
Right now, we'll of course go to the daily chart, which is quite impressive for Bitcoin. But in case you missed it, Bitcoin's at all-time highs, and it's a very momentous moment for that to be the case. As you can see on this 15-minute chart here, double bottom just above 121,000. So that is clear support. But if we break below it, that could spell a bit of trouble. That seems to be the clear support level that we've really, I guess, had since this all-time high break. It's also worth noting it's not even at a clear previous level of resistance. It's actually a little bit below the last notable level of resistance there, around 121.5. So interesting look on the daily, the 15. Here's the daily as I tell you guys a little bit more about Crypto Week. That is, of course, we're calling this Crypto Week because we have a couple different bills and acts here being discussed by U.S. lawmakers and legislators. So we're going to start with the Genius Act. This has already been passed through the Senate, but it basically aims to clarify when digital assets, including crypto tokens, are considered securities and when they're considered commodities. So that can help people avoid legal uncertainty and give them clear regulatory clarity. Speaking of which, the second of these acts is called the Clarity Act. It's going to block federal agencies from using court rulings to overextend regulatory power so that Congress can define how crypto assets are used and categorized as opposed to the courts. Then last but not least, the Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act that would basically prohibit the Federal Reserve from issuing a central bank digital currency. Here is crypto. Ethereum to the upside, nicely holding on to that 3,000 level. Bitcoin, as mentioned, holding on to 121,000. XRP up almost 5%. Solana up almost 2%. Doge, Tron, Cardano relatively flat. So mixed performance, but Ethereum, Ripple, and BTC, the top three crypto names in market cap, performing very nicely. Back to you.
XRP Army, everybody. Go get it, XRP. I like Samuel. Any targets on BTC? Moon? I don't know. Get a key for that. No, yeah, I mean, I usually leave that for like market technicians. I think on the day trade, don't have any, and certainly, like when I looked at it, you know what? Let's just go to the chart because I've been looking at the same chart and with one approach on BTC. Like, there's a reason why, like when the market was pulling back, I was a dip buyer in front of this nice line, resistance to support, and this one, resistance to support. And when I look at this gap here, that's about 16, 17, and then you get the same thing here. Well, that works out to about like 32, 33. So you break out the high, that sets you up in the mid 140s to like just underneath 150. I think first stop is like with 17 thou up, which would be about 125, 126, and then another leg higher from there, so in the mid 140s. That's what I'm thinking at this particular point. The other thing that's happening, I'll get to a firm in a second, but Tesla's, it's just, Like Tesla just doesn't seem to have it today at all. It's now making this test of 312. And this is with the market. Here's the real problem. The market just wicked the high again. So I think you maybe pull back into the volume weighted average price. I've been waiting for it to get into this 112 for a test of the low, but with it not able to break the trend, like there's no chance it'll be a trend line break if it gets there, at least anytime soon. It would have to be a bottoming tail candle. Like give me something along the lines of this, like a bottoming tail that breaks the low, that breaks 312, and then I can get an entry like that. Otherwise, I'm not going to be in Tesla, I don't think, again today. It's just not the way. I don't want to stand in front of the level the way it's falling. I did get into that Affirm on a trend break, which we showed you guys earlier. And Palantir, I missed. Oh, I missed it. As I was pulling back in, I kind of anchored myself to down here, and Palantir wanted to hold 145. This is, I don't know if it's the strongest stock out there, but one of the strongest things that I'm looking at is Palantir. I got to be able to jump back into this one. Congratulations if you have this, but I missed this one backing it off of VWAP. We'll see if we can get into Palantir for a third long, if it can give me some kind of a dip buy there again. And Daniel's asking a little bit about Goog. Alphabet.
Yeah.
I know, I'm assuming that's what you mean. Like all I can say about Alphabet is somebody's buying it at 180 bucks. Like look at this hold. Now, generally speaking, this would be a good thing. You're like, oh, well, then why not just go long off 180? The problem I have with that is the market's putting in these topping tails. That's not exactly the moment that I would want to be picking the long. It's almost as if we revert this top and fail it. It's almost like you want the breakdown underneath on Alphabet because the market's at the top and failing, and that buying in the market isn't enough to drive Alphabet away from this 180 level. So I don't know in particular. You never know how big that refresher or buyer is going to be in Alphabet. There was a minor story there this morning because there was some AI hiring that they did. I don't think that's enough to get it going. You just really have someone buying it up around Friday's close. And if the market can't really punch through the top, I'm not sure what gets it away from there. But it's a good look off this level. I'd be more inclined to, if the market stays with these topping tail candles, to look for the breakdown underneath, because that way, like you can put some tight risk on, and if the Nasdaq retraces to the low, your risk to reward is gorgeous, because this could fall all the way down into the 178 range, and you could risk 50 cents on it. That would be the look I would look for here on Alphabet.
Yeah, I think I like the way that Google's been moving over the past few weeks. Some aggressive kind of direction, and again, off of the open, it just goes. Sometimes it just goes in one direction, and that's what makes it beautiful, I think. So sometimes that opening drive can really come in real hot, but we can see the reversions coming in as well. When the opening drive is a little bit hotter than you expect, maybe you're looking for a bit of reversion as well, right? So again, that directional moves on Google. If you go back into the past couple of weeks there and kind of look at what it's been up to, then you can kind of see that kind of price action there on that one there. So that's what we have looking at on Google. Tesla's trying to hold. We actually got down to 312.60s there, Neil. So yeah, I don't know. I think I got a call for someone there, but
absolutely. And traders, everybody, listen up. eSignal still got the first month free. Everybody, they're waiving fees, so you can try them out here, where you can get a platform that is highly customizable, incredibly reliable data, the ability to hook up essentially multiple brokers, many brokers, so you can trade directly through the platform, back test, forward test, all of your strategies or indicators that you want to try out, live level 2 access as well, the imbalance locator. It's all there in one spot. It's highly intuitive, so it's not really that difficult to figure out what it is that you want or don't want, entitlement based, so that you can add and subtract the data that you want. Scan the QR code in front of you. The first month is free over at eSignal. Check them out, give them a chance. But let's go back to Adara, I believe.
I just want to let you guys know here, we do have Donald Trump, president of the U.S., apparently set to meet the Secretary General of NATO. I was seeing on his schedule, this is actually a closed press event, but I guess they're meeting outside here of the White House. If there is anything of note, I'll let you know. I'm watching the stream, but usually he just meets the individual outside, they go inside. If this does end up being on camera, I'll let you know. But again, I was seeing that it was supposed to be closed press. Additionally, Donald Trump was set to attend this luncheon at 12 p.m. today. Given that his meeting with the NATO Secretary General seems to have been a little bit delayed, this meeting might not happen at 12, or this luncheon, sorry, might not happen at 12, but I'll let you know if anything changes. Back to you.
You are fake news.
Oh, that wasn't loud enough. I could barely hear that.
I heard a little bit of that one. Yeah, that's funny.
We have that key.
I don't think so.
I need that.
I think Fabian has that key.
I have like this. This is the key that I never use.
Oh, Sharif has it. Okay, nice.
I like the Flintstones key. It's a really, really cool one.
Which one?
But no, this one.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's just right. I thought we actually had the animation.
No, well, yeah, we don't have the actual Flintstones animation, but we also have. Oh, I'll hit the bad one. See this one? That's the bad slap key because the firm came out again. So I hit the bad slap key. I could have scalped some of this out for about 30 cents, but the play is play this back into the volume weighted average price. So I hadn't really gone far enough, but you got to be able to get out. Like, make sure you get out when it's not working for you. Make sure you hold when it is. I'll jump over to what I think can be the next continuation play. Palantir going. It just double tapped the 146. Let's see if we can get this dip. I didn't miss it off of VWAP in here last time. If it gets to VWAP again, I don't want to miss it a second time, as Palantir looking incredibly strong. I know CoreWeave is going, a lot of people looking at that, AMD and the chip names. Maybe it was just a sell program that was happening on some of the chips. Like, the only real chip headline was a note on Micron that suggested that demand could soften for them, and it wasn't necessarily like it wasn't a report that I was putting too much stock in. I doubt that that's what it was. I mean, a similar candle like to the downside off the open, and then it bounced back in. Micron doesn't look very healthy at all today, so I'd stay away from that. I think it's AMD or NVIDIA, but I'm just not at the point that I like those longs over something like Palantir, which is stair-stepping to the upside. Mike, I've seen a few people ask about HIMS. We'll go to Adara and come back, and we'll get to that one for sure.
I actually know about HIMS. It's going to be off the top of my head, so it's not going to be exactly the details, but I believe it was Morgan Stanley. They had done some analysis here, and apparently HIMS had a year-over-year drop in one of their metrics for the month of June. That was the first time that it ever occurred. I'm going to look at this and give you more details because this is just, as I said, off the top of my head, but there was a negative note there for HIMS this morning. Here is the market. Actually lightly green in some sectors. Finance lightly green, though some of these major banks, including JP Morgan, relatively flat ahead of their earnings reports tomorrow morning. Consumer services has some green spots. Utilities, health technology, a little bit more mixed here, but industrial services fairly green. Now let's talk about weakness. Consumer non-durables, PG leading this group to the downside by about 2%. Energy minerals, red. Producer manufacturing, red. Transportation, weak. Health services, pretty weak as well. And let's talk about these tech sectors. Some of the names in this group are actually green today: Palantir, Netflix, ServiceNow here in technology services, but Google, Meta, and Microsoft all flat on the day. Then let's talk about electronic technology, which is weak across the board. Micron down about 5% with that new Neil just mentioned, but NVIDIA, Apple, Cisco, AMD also a bit weaker. I'm going to get more info on that note on HIMS and get right back to you. But this sector board, not the most promising start to the week. Back to you.
So just a couple of things here. Here's what I'm looking like. Tesla is just weird. But what's happening now on Tesla, pun not intended, is since it broke the opening bottom, which is right here, that first high got put in, look at the clean trend. This is now a very clean trend where if it can hold this bottom and break 315, that's a play into VWAP for me. That's what I want to see happen in Palantir. Sorry, in Tesla. Palantir, I'd hope for a pullback into the volume weighted average price. Apple looks incredibly weak. My goodness, if this market fails the top, Apple looks like a breakdown for sure, as it's 1.2 to the downside when the market's absolutely flat. Let's go to Adara. I believe we have some more news.
I just wanted to say, provide more details there on HIMS, HIMS. It turns out that the note that I had given was pretty much exactly accurate, but here are the details because I was not able to provide those off the top. So Morgan Stanley here with an equal weight rating and $40 price target for HIMS and hers. They cited decelerating business momentum. So they had basically said here, as I alluded to earlier, app downloads, that was the metric there that dropped year over year, actually dropping by 8% year over year. This is the figures falls below the levels seen before the company launched their compound GLP-1. So this is the first time we've had a decline in this metric, or I guess had the metric at this level since May 2024. Not well liked here by Morgan Stanley. Again, still an equal weight rating, but they are concerned about decelerating momentum for HIMS. Back to you.
Thank you there. Well, yeah, HIMS is incredibly strong today, but I don't know how much you want to chase.
They had some news as well, and like she just reported. I think
that daily.
Yeah, the daily is what was very interesting to me on HIMS and hers. I did kind of pull it up this morning, but you can see, like, relative to where it's at from where it's been, it's kind of in the middle there.
It's 100%, and just every single time, like, look what's happening at about $51, right? Every single time it gets to this prior support level, all of these wicks, it can break 51, it can't close above. It can break 51, it can't close above. It can break 51, can't close above. So I think if you want it to basically close above 51 and then break out after that to get that next leg continuation, because all the short-term longs have already kind of won here. My Palantir, everybody. Palantir, Drago's Palantir boom. Donkey Kong has a different opinion of it, which I'll leave that alone. It's still trying to break this 146, up 3% into a market which is about to go green. So maybe we don't get the dip buy on Palantir just yet. I hope for everyone else's sake that I don't get the dip buy, because if you're in it long already, you're absolutely laughing. But Tesla is now trying to break that trend. I think it's going to go. I'm not in it yet because this is, like, I'm looking for it to close breaking this trend line, which right now would be break this bar at 350. It's like a 315
take
break.
Take them out.
Bring them out. Bring them out.
Ew.
I hear you.
Yes, sir.
I'm with you on that.
So we broke that trend now. So let's see if the bid actually comes in. So I was involved a little bit. I did get aggressive. I was telling Neil, I was like, that 313. I've been trying for a while. Boom, boom, boom. 315 is currently coming in. Let's see some size on the ask there at that 315s. Can we take Buddy out? Holding right now 314.90s. I just realized you guys cannot see the tape here, so let me pull up the tape on this side so we can take a look at it together, and we'll put on a little bit of a size filter as well, so we can see if any larger players potentially post up and show themselves on the ask or the bid there. So yeah, 315 is finally coming in. Let's see if we can get a push towards VWAP. Market is looking strong in this direction, and oh boy, here we go. Let's see if we can kind of take me out here along the way. I was looking for that 315, but yeah, that 315 is coming in pretty nicely. But yeah, I got pretty aggressive. It was just holding, and I got into I guess. Technically, I got into 5 times what I should be in Tesla, but that's just because I'm risking break even on the push, because I'm just like, okay, I'm playing momentum. Every pullback, 15, 20 pennies keeps holding and getting bought up. Even we had a 50 penny flush there that also held that 314, and then we got that next leg up as well. That gives us that built us up into the break of this I guess not really multi-hour. Has it been multi-hours? No, just 1 hour trend down. So oh boy, for that one there. So 315s. If you're not gonna hold well, I'm gonna be a little bit nimble there. I'm not gonna look all the way for VWAP because it's very clear right off of the open that sellers are in charge. So will they even let it get to VWAP? I have no idea. But my job is to try to stay nimble as possible and manage my risk in an effective manner relative to my daily shutdown. That's where I had a prop firm.
I just scalped some out as well, but I'm going to look at this penny stock. But first things first, Riley, there's 1 million shares, like right away. There's 1 million shares on SDST at 54 cents. 1.2 million sitting on EdgeX that's holding this stock right now. But you just said, please look at it. And this person said, say my name. TS Booker. I like it. No, TS Booker's like, say my name. So I'm like, whatever. There we go. But Riley wanted me to look at SDST. I have not looked to see exactly what the catalyst is or the small float or anything like that. But I can tell you this much. Hopefully, and I don't know if you're a fan of the Boondocks, but hopefully SDST is going to pay what it owes. You're going to pay what you owe. But I know I tried Tesla there as well on that trend break, which here I can redraw the Tesla. Let me just redraw the trend line. right in there is about where the trend line was. So I took it, immediately runs into resistance at the $0.50, and it just does not look that strong. I want that going right away. And see how weak the tape is? It's just, you can take your shots at Tesla, but I don't think you want to fight it forever.
We were literally talking about this morning.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just some days.
If you get in on confirmation, like, so we've been talking a lot about these trend breaks on the show, and I know in trader world as well, there's certain trend line breaks or trend breaks that are pretty decent, right? But here's the question I have for you guys. If you wait for confirmation, how much edge is really left there? If everybody can see the confirmation, is that, like, you can see how many times, if you get in on confirmation, how many times does it come back and wick you out or stop you out? That's the question that I'm asking, because I find that if I'm waiting for confirmation to get into a trade, more often than not, for me, I think it's almost already too late. But some of the best ones, they do just go right away. So if you're willing to lose on them multiple times, you can definitely catch the ones that do finally take off and go right away as well. Again, reiterating that some of the best trades definitely have that characteristic of going right away.
That's why I want that.
It's like, if you
trend
want
break,
right
either
away,
goes right away or not.
or if it doesn't, then you're totally, you're done with it there. But yeah, no, we had this conversation last week as well of like just if waiting for confirmation is actually valid, or is just because everyone's looking at it, how crowded does that really become? And do you have to find places along the way, along the story of the price action, where you might be able to pick up on nuances before others? So again, interesting stuff. We'll be right back with Money Talks from Madeira.
It is not at all an eventful day in terms of economic data-related catalysts for the U.S. dollar. So after I provide a quick look at the daily chart, I'm going to get right into what we have on tap for economic events this week, because later in the week, we do get very interesting. Here's the U.S. dollar, still more or less here in this downtrend. The last week, as I mentioned, on Friday, actually not bad. We did get quite the pop here last week, a bit of a bullish engulfing candle, if you will. But the weekly and daily trends are still very much downward. Let's talk a little bit about these economic data prints that we have coming later this week. Of course, CPI coming out tomorrow. And so we're actually expecting an uptick here for all of these prints. I looked a little bit into this because I was curious, and it seems like people are attributing this potential uptick to tariffs. So this CPI print, or these set of CPI prints coming out tomorrow morning, could be the first sign of tariff inflation, or at least that's what some people are projecting. Year-over-year CPI, we're expecting 2.6% versus 2.4% previous, 0.3% versus 0.1% previous for the month-over-month. Core, year-over-year, we're expecting 2.9% versus 2.8% previous, and core month-over-month, 0.3% versus 0.1% previous. Let's see if this print is where we start to see these tariff-related inflation impacts that the Fed keeps hinting at. Back to you.
Look, at the end of the day, I don't know how much the Fed's going to matter, but rates matter. No questions asked. This market, though, we're just holding barely on a green. Like, how many times we've gone back and forth? Like, if I look over at the Nasdaq, let me see what the ES is doing. ES is still solidly red, but the Nasdaq's gone red to green, like so many times through here. It does feel like we're going to power up and
Power up.
Yeah, and break out higher. But I just still only want Palantir. Well, I shouldn't say I only want Palantir. That's not a fair thing to say. Palantir is the one I'm looking for to catch on a pullback. The only trade, we were just having that conversation about waiting for confirmation. Sometimes I just want to be in, and then when you get the confirmation, maybe it's too late, because the confirmation, I think, came in here, and I didn't retake the long on Palantir. Sometimes that's just how it is. The other place I want to be, ideally, would be Robinhood, which is, it's got like a wedge thing happening. There's our higher lows on Robinhood. It's not decisive in terms of the downtrend at all. So I think it would just be a hold this VWAP and play into this. And then this SDST. I got to admit, Stardust Power, great name, by the way, and that big seller. Remember I was saying on this penny stock, I saw 1.2 million shares on the offer. It's done 220 million shares on the day. It'll go through that like it doesn't really matter. But as long as it's holding that level, the longer this consolidation is, I'll probably take a shot at this breaking out through that order. As long as I still see it there, this takes out like 54 and then gets to 54 quarter. Why not? You give it a, I mean, you give it literally you give it like a penny risk. I mean, first resistance is at like 57, 58. So right there, you'd be making 2 or 3 to 1, and the high of the day is at 70 cents. And it's done a lot of volume. So I'm going to probably have this one on the side burner for sure. Jake Roberts Snake, yes. Stardust, of course, the Star Wars reference. If you don't know well, you probably don't.
Which references?
Stardust in Star Wars. No. Yeah, he never.
I think it's more. It's not necessarily in. Oh, it's in Rogue.
If you've seen Rogue One,
okay,
then you should
yeah.
get the reference.
I've only seen that one like twice.
You've only seen it twice?
Yeah.
That's
I really like that one.
It's my second
really
favorite Star Wars. Well, it's tied for second.
It's really good. What's your first?
Empire Strikes Back.
Really?
And then Rogue One and New Hope are like tied for second for me. That's Andor is fantastic, by the way. Absolutely fantastic. Andor is the best thing they've done.
Phantom Menace, I really like as well.
Okay.
I don't know. That's one of my. Okay. No, you don't really. That was a very. No.
No, it's not.
Sundial is running.
Sundial's running. Get out of here. Well, we need to change the subject because Obi's saying that he likes the Phantom Menace.
It's good. What do you mean?
Adara said it's her favorite too.
So far, I like.
So Sundial running to the up 13% Sundial, and I'll tell you right now, the reason why Sundial, I do not know what the story is, but I'm gonna speculate that it's because the demand for weed is so high that it has people liking episode 1 of Star Wars more than any other film. Because you would need to be as high as all you know what, smoking that good. This would have to be you, Obi, right now, all up in this, doing that, and Adara as well, to actually think that the Phantom Menace deserves anything. Anyways, you guys know what's up. Look, man, I'm not.
It is the origin story. It is Anakin from where he came from. Come on. It's Obi-Wan? Qui-Gon. Master Qui-Gon. Come on. Like
Qui-Gon is an amazing character.
Of course, and he's there only for that movie.
Fantastic job. The story itself is really not that bad. The execution of the story is absolutely terrible.
I like race.
Obi-Wan does a good job. Whoa! That's what the heck is that stock called again? What are we calling this thing?
Sundial?
No, it's Stardust. See, y'all distracted me, man. This thing. Remember I told you.
Whoa! Nice trade. Let's go.
Okay, so
instantly, what? 10 pennies? That's almost 10 pennies.
No, it's not. It's 7. So remember what I told you,
60 penny
the break there of the guy with 1 million shares. Oh, it's going more?
Okay.
All
right.
More.
All right.
So anyways, the break of the 1 million shares at 54 on Stardust, because this penny stock is better than the Phantom Menace. I'll tell you that right now. Anyways, the break was from here. I actually thought we would probably stop in and around 57 to 58. It instantly went right to the first resistance level. So remember, it was big time redonku seller at 54. Let seller break, punch long when seller breaks.
Yep.
It's that simple. Now I'll just probably throw a break even stop on this and see how far it can go. Because
that's solid.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't even look up what this company did. I don't even know what the story is. I'm sure it's got a decent sized short float. Let's look at the daily chart because we're supposed to. Oh, this is the habitual line stepper. Oh, this isn't. Oh goodness. Wow, that's the daily chart's even worse than I would have thought. What? This is terrible. This thing is horrible.
Barcode?
This is horrible. Anyways, and look where it turned. Like this is actually a pretty good spot that it already topped out at. That's 68 to 70 level. Yeah, you'd be pretty happy if it got back there. I think 70 would be good if it broke it again, but I think the scalp trade's the way to go. I'm trying to get 61s here. I'm not getting filled because there's a bunch of yahoos at the 60 half level, at 60-60, 60-70. So they're not letting it break 61. Anyways, break even stop on this. We'll see if we can get to. I have one more out here, and then I'll wait to see if it can break into the 67s. Look, I took out 85% like that. I just punched it out because we're sitting there talking about Star Wars. And everyone's like, see Ospi, what an entry. There is nothing remotely impressive about that entry. This is the oldest. The market used to be like this a heck of a lot more, where you would just simply see, like you could see there would be a seller here because there's resistance at 54, but there would be nothing going on. There was just 1.2 million on the offer of this thing. So like this is what SDST looks like. This is what it looks like now. Like, 10,000 shares and 9,000 shares there and 8,000 shares there and 6,000 shares there. There was 1.2 million shares sitting on the offer at 54 that we told you guys about. 1.2 million just sitting right there. When that goes, you just punch long. Because you can just risk the 1 cent through 53 or maybe 2 cents through 52 and then let it blast. Look how long it held that level. From open, 54 held till now. From the open. You just punch it long. Your risk reward's fantastic on that trade. That's more of a gimmicky trade than anything else. Like it's not, there's nothing fundamental about it. And before I get into trouble, because I know Sean may be gone, but that doesn't mean we don't look at the menu here. I'm just gonna try and get it up in a quick little second. I want to make sure I can get this menu. Where did I put it?
Oh, what's going on? I didn't know.
Because we'll get the lunch in a quick second, yes, because I know we got to get to it. Here it is.
Tesla, dude? Look at that.
Oh my goodness.
Comes in so strong.
Look at
and then right off the bat, look at that false break and then just boom, boom, boom. I tried a few times for the long. Eventually I got like $1, but like, the sellers were aggressive, dude. And we're talking about that hood, right off open, boom. Like the bid just vanishes for $2. It was absolutely crazy. But market's strong. Market's doing well.
Why is this not opening? Oh, here we go. Finally it opened.
Here we go.
So now we can do it. This is for you, Joe. We got the what's for lunch. I don't have the key for what's for lunch. We have 1 minute to go. We'll just read it off anyways. Joseph, if you don't like this, then you don't, he'll love it.
What do we got?
Breakfast was, there was the usual pastries. We had egg on cheese as well. But lunch today, we got the butter chicken, everybody.
Ooh,
and if you don't like the butter chicken, we got vegetable biryani, aloo gobi, a cauliflower potato curry.
All right.
You don't like that? You don't know? Mixed bag.
We've had a conversation about the biryani here before.
Oh, you don't like it. Yeah, Obi's not a fan of that. But butter chicken?
Yeah,
butter chicken's all right.
Butter chicken.
Yeah.
You like the butter chicken.
It's hard to get butter chicken wrong, but it surprises me how often it happens. But the butter chicken here is pretty good.
You know what that reminds me of?
It's pretty good.
We were talking about Riley and the Boondocks.
Yeah.
Butter chicken. It's not butter chicken. Butter biscuits. The fam ain't eating the butter biscuits. No. Basically, their granddad. And if you watch the show, it's like Riley's the little kid, and the granddad. Let's just say that he gets a girlfriend. I won't get into the specifics of the girlfriend because obviously it's the Boondocks, so it gets a little bit crazy. But he's like, yeah, you taking the Red Lobster with the butter biscuits. The fam ain't eating the butter biscuits, and you taking to get the butter biscuits. Oh, I love that episode. The Boondocks is the greatest cartoon, and I can't say the rest of that. I would if I could, but I can't, so I won't. But everyone out here, it's the cheddar biscuits. My bad. It is the cheddar. This SDST Stardust. It goes right. It cannot seem to. There's another seller here, not like 1 million shares or anything, but at that 62. So I'd like if we can put in a higher low, that'll give me a better place to trail this. But for now, I took the other leg out. I'm holding on to 10% of the position. I want to give it back to break even. I feel like I might as well just do that because with a penny stock, I'll throw offers every couple of cents or so and just see how far it can go. Tesla is now finally going.
Yeah.
Now you go Tesla.
Going.
But it's also 11 o'clock, everybody.
Yeah.
So
it took the hour. It took the opening candle for the new hour to get that break through 350.
Higher
like,
time frame is what it's about sometimes.
Yes.
But also we've got penny stock. So 2 people are in penny stocks this morning.
Oh boy.
I'm in one. Sharif's in another. Let's go. Can it get higher? We'll be back at 2 o'clock. Thank you, Obi. It's been a fun one. We'll see you guys at 2. It's going to be some midday madness with the Bash Brothers. Go get them.
Hey guys.
You can hear me sing. Bum, 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 bum.